month.
Yes.
Isn't that right, Evan?
Halloween with RNS.
I'm Dylan.
And I'm Evan.
So that's our names. And this week we're going to be talking about In the Mouth of Madness, John Carpenter's movie.
Of course.
That he made.
Mm-hmm.
As the kids say, Evan, it's one of the movies of all time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's one of the movies of all time. I hate that meme. Yeah. I don't think it's funny.
Well, it's true.
Not to poke fun at you, because I assumed you said it ironically.
Yeah.
Well, even though it's already kind of an ironic thing, but
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like double layers of irony there.
Yeah, which kind of falls in line with the trouble we have with this film, doesn't it, Evan?
I guess so, yeah.
A little bit
I guess
related.
So. Not to get ahead
of ourselves.
Yeah.
No, certainly not. I did want to mention, Evan. Actually, let me pose a question to you.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen anything recently that you would like to bring up on the podcast?
Yeah, I saw Halloween Ends.
So how was that?
It was bad. It was really bad.
It was much worse than Kills?
Well, I liked Kills. I know everyone shit on it, but I personally liked it. But this one was just really terrible.
Oh, yeah, just for context, we're talking about the most recent trilogy.
Yeah.
There was Halloween 2018.
Yeah, it was Halloween 2018.
Then Halloween Kills.
And now Halloween Ends.
And then Halloween Ends. So it's, the new trilogy.
So I know everyone shit on Halloween Kills because, there was, the whole, cancel culture, subtext in it or whatever, and, the mass hysteria thing that was really stupid. And, it didn't really add much to the last film, but... it was I got what I wanted from it, which was just Michael. It's really violent and
some fun Michael Myers stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So for that reason, I enjoyed it. And also Laurie wasn't in it that much. Also, she's in the hospital the whole time. I think people didn't like that either. But I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. So for that reason, I liked it. But this was just bad. This was just terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it's a whole lot of the boyfriend and Laurie's granddaughter.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. So spoilers ahead. And it kind of makes sense. So now after seeing the trailer, in the trailers they kept showing only this one specific scene with Michael Myers when he's attacking Laurie, and it's actually from the end of the movie. And then once you see the movie, it makes sense. Michael Myers is really barely even in the movie. It's mostly focused on the kid, who's he's ooh, a new Michael Myers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
so is the whole movie kind of oh, is he wacky like Michael, or is that the whole...
kind of. So this another big problem with this. It's the subtext of this movie. It's some Joker shit where it's society made him this way. You know what I mean? He was bullied into becoming a fucking...
Yeah.
It's some school shooter Joker shit. But and then it's okay, he's being kind of compared to Michael Myers, where he's a new one. But it's so what are they implying that oh, Michael Myers was made this way by society? That doesn't really add up. You know what I mean? Because it's you see in the first film, he deliberately went out of his way to fucking kill his sister, and then he's he's always been fucked up in the head. It wasn't he was bullied into being like that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
It's not the same, because at the beginning of this movie, Corey, that's the name of the new kid, he accidentally killed the kid because the kid locks him in the closet on Halloween, and he's pretending to be Michael Myers or whatever, and he breaks out and he accidentally pushes the kid over the stairs and he falls and he kills him. So he goes to jail for I think it's 4 years, or prison for manslaughter or whatever. And he gets out. So he killed the kid, but it was a complete accident. It's not he meant to do it.
Right.
So for that reason, it's okay, you can't really compare Michael Myers and him, because Michael Myers, you see in the original film, he went out of his way to fucking kill his sister. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not. It was and this is an accident, and then he's bullied into becoming a killer, and then it gets even stupider because then him and Michael Myers have this psychic connection. This is real. This is real. Him and Michael Myers have a psychic connection with each other, and then they start teaming up for some kill.
That took me a second to process.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot going on. It's really stupid.
Unironically, so I've been hearing people kind of talk about this movie about how he's a proto Michael, and some of the tension is based on that. But I remember, I think it's Halloween 4.
I think it was 5. The Curse of Michael Myers.
Halloween 5.
I could be wrong. Maybe it might be 4. But I think
my
that was
friend,
part 5.
my good friend. I don't know if I've mentioned him on the podcast. Shout out to you, Xavier.
Oh yes.
I feel he
you probably have mentioned him.
Probably. Yeah. And he's a big horror fan, so he might wind up watching these. So hi, Xavier. But we watched all of the Halloween movies except H2O. Is there one called Resurrection?
Yeah, that was the one after H2O.
Okay, we didn't watch H2O, we didn't watch Resurrection, but we watched 1 through 6. So all the original Halloween movies.
Yeah.
And
were they most of them bad? Or did you enjoy them? I know a lot of people do enjoy them.
About half of them are bad.
Okay.
About half of them are bad.
Did you like part 3? You know what's funny? I was actually thinking for Halloween next year, I want to do Halloween 3.
Halloween 3 is a good movie.
I still have not seen it. But
No?
I know it's like, completely unrelated. So
It's good.
I was actually thinking like last week, I was like, maybe next year, because I already have my choices locked in for this year. Next year, maybe Halloween 3. But that's
I
a
was
whole year
actually
away,
thinking about my choices as well for next year. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Bit of fun. But, Halloween 3 is good. Halloween 1 is good. Halloween 2 is mid, in my opinion.
I liked Halloween 2. It wasn't great, but I did like it.
The part where he kills, okay, this is getting really off topic from what
we are talking about Halloween, so,
it relates to Halloween.
Yeah.
This is Halloween Ends.
Exactly.
It ends the whole trilogy. Even though the vast majority of Halloween films are not canon to this movie,
this one.
But anyways, Halloween 2, the part where they kill that kid on accident, and the police car hits him and it explodes.
It's goofy, but it's funny as fuck.
It's so stupid.
It was goofy.
Halloween 2, because Halloween 1 is it's perfect. It feels evil,
and it's very John Carpenter, even more relevant.
Oh yeah,
he did.
Today we were talking about a John Carpenter movie as well, but Halloween 1 is so subdued. It's very realistic. The only supernatural thing about it is Michael's demeanor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also he does kind of get fucked up in that movie as well. Not as fucked up as the later films.
Well, he gets shot and falls and then presumably runs away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not, and then in Halloween 2, it's batshit.
Well, I'm saying it's crazy. In all the sequels, it's he's just fucking immortal basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So it's not as crazy in the original, like you said.
But what I wanted to mention. So Halloween 1 is amazing. Halloween 2 is mid, in my opinion. Halloween 3, good. It's a good movie. Doesn't really, no Michael, but it's good. Yeah. And then I think I don't remember what fucking 4 is about.
Me either. I know one of them for the one where he has a psychic connection with a girl or something.
So I do like that.
Yeah, I think that was the curse of Michael Myers. I didn't see it, so I don't know.
Is that not 4?
It might be.
I don't know, but
I thought it was 5, but I could be wrong.
Because I think 4 is the one with the girl. They set up this little girl to become the new Michael, but it's not
It's like that. It's exactly like that.
It's like this new movie, but in 4, I remember it being more it was a cosmic infection or delirium. It wasn't some Joker shit.
Yeah.
It was oh no, because she at the end she's in a clown costume. I think she killed her brother or something.
Yeah.
And it was really cool, and then they retconned it for the rest of that trilogy. So I think it was 4.
As long-running horror franchises are known to do.
Yeah.
They never stay true to their canon.
Yeah, because they were oh, well, this little girl, she
sucks. Bring back Michael.
Well, no, she's badass.
No, I mean in the minds of
the executives and the standard
the general
moviegoer.
Public.
Yeah. But I don't know. I like that idea a lot because, like I said, it was kind of almost we're gonna get into Lovecraftian elements.
We are
in a bit, but it's almost Lovecraftian the way it kind of infects her. As she becomes this monster at the end, and it's very much parallels. Michael. There's not much reason or rhyme to it. I don't know. It's good.
Yeah, it's not so much like that. It's in this. It's they have a psychic kind of a psychic connection to each other, but it's very kind of subdued. You know what I mean? It's not super supernatural. You know what I mean? It's very subtle. Because, they look into each other's eyes, and it's it could be just oh my god, they both share the same trauma. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of played like that. But then, it goes nowhere. The whole it ends up being entirely pointless because then the kid just kills himself, you think, at least. Well, and then he's still alive, and then Michael just kills him. So it's okay, what was... You know what I mean? For them to have that connection, then it just ends with Michael killing him, and then Michael dies. You know what I mean? It's
plus,
stupid.
I feel like that goes against the first movie in that trilogy, the 2018 Halloween.
Yeah.
Which I liked a lot.
Mm-hmm, me too.
Because my favorite part in that whole movie was when the documentary people... I guess they were podcasters, but it sounds better to say documentary.
Yeah. I forgot they were podcasters.
I kind of wish they were documentary people instead, but that's okay. But yeah, there's these true crime podcasters that are trying to document Michael, and they have his mask, and they're trying to interview him and shit, and they're trying to explain Michael and his psychology, and he winds up just smashing their heads in and stealing his mask back, which is fucking that's the best commentary on Michael to me. It's after all the shit they've put Michael through in oh, is he like supernatural, like the Thorn cult and like all that bullshit? It's like, no, you can't explain him. He'll just smash your head in and take his mask back and not say shit and leave you dying.
He does do that, because the kid, like, steals his mask, which is very stupid. They, like, wrestle, and it's, like, a very long
It's like fucking Crystal Skull.
Yeah, he steals his mask, and then Michael kills him.
Takes the hat, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then Michael takes the mask back and kills him. He breaks his neck. And the romance is horrible between this kid and Laurie's granddaughter. It's just like, it's very nonsensical and just, I don't know, it's stupid. They're like, let's burn this fucking down to the ground. And it's like, it's so dumb. Like, the connection between the two characters really makes no sense at all. And not to mention, so I didn't find that she was like bad in the other two movies, the granddaughter. She was fine. Her performance was fine. But in this, maybe she wasn't bad, but maybe her chemistry with the actor who plays the Corey was just bad. Because their scene together was just so terrible.
Or maybe she just couldn't do much with the writing.
That could be it, too.
Actress.
Yeah.
Like I said,
I do feel like they didn't have chemistry, though, watching it.
Yeah.
And he was definitely not a great actor. So the fact that, like, a majority of the movie focuses on them, it's just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's... So, like I said, have not seen the movie, so I don't want to pretend I'm speaking on it from experience. But from what I've heard, it's like, you chose this actor that has no connection to the franchise to carry the movie.
Yeah.
That's supposed... Like, I'm sure it's going to be... We're going to get a Halloween movie in, like, 2 years or 5 years max.
Somehow, Michael Myers has returned.
Somehow. Like, yeah, Halloween's Returns.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get that in a few years. But,
have you seen the Rob Zombie remake?
I have not.
I did like that one. I know a lot of people shit on it. I saw a tweet that was like, the country owes Rob Zombie an apology. They really do.
Especially after Ends, right?
Yeah. So I liked the Rob
though.
Zombie Halloween. I didn't see his sequel, though. I saw a lot of people shit on that one. But the original one he did, like his straight-up remake, I really liked that one. I thought it was good.
I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, I did like it.
That movie is disturbing to me, though. I remember when that came out and my cousin went to go see it, and I was like, that is the scariest shit I've ever heard of.
Yeah, I feel like that one did, like, because, it's like they retold his origin or whatever, and even just, like, kind of, like, since, like, it did a better job making him, like, kind of, like, the psychotic kid you would expect. So
he was, like, grungy and psychotic, right?
Yeah. And I kind of like that take on it, and it kind of makes sense, with it being Rob Zombie who did it, so I liked it.
It makes sense to me, an interpretation of Michael when he was younger as, like, one of those problem children that was, like, untouchable.
Yeah.
That was, like, no matter what you do, you're not going to get through to him.
Yeah.
Like, he's just in a completely other world, and he's, It sounds like a good take. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I did like it, so... I haven't seen it in many years. I saw it, like, when I was, like, in 8th grade. It was on TV, and I watched it, and I was like, yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it. There's one scene I really hate, but I don't want to spoil it for you. I don't hate the scene. Like, it's a good scene, but it's like, I was like, why?
Really?
Yeah. Huh. But I don't want to spoil it, so if you really do...
I'm curious. What is it?
Yeah. You don't care?
Okay. No, I'll still watch it if I want.
Okay, so it's like... So you see that, like I said, they kind of, like, show his whole origin in, like, the original John Carpenter Halloween. And when he's in, like, the mental hospital or whatever... Danny Trejo's character, he's like the only person who's like nice to Michael.
He's like an orderly or something?
Yeah, he's like a janitor or some shit. And it's like he's always nice to Michael. And then Michael just kills him, and Danny Trejo's like begging for his life, and he's like, Mikey, I was good to you. And then he doesn't listen, he just crushes his fucking head.
I mean, that's Michael, though.
Yeah.
That's Michael.
You're right, it is. I was like, no. I thought, like, for a second, you'd think, because it kind of makes you think, oh, maybe he's going to let him go. But no, he just kills him. I was like, no. The fact that he's Danny Trejo, like, it hurts worse.
But yeah, that sounds like a good setup, though. Yeah. Because it's like, he kills his sister.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's kind of shorthand for like, you don't give a fuck, you'll kill anyone.
Yeah.
So, and then, that, so. But it sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to check out that Rob Zombie remake. Halloween is pretty badass.
It's true. I do like that franchise, yeah.
And I did have, so we've gone about 15 minutes on Halloween.
You saw Black Adam early.
I did want to talk.
I jumped ahead.
You did jump the gun. Yeah. That was kind of my thing to reveal, but whatever. But yeah, I got to see Black Adam early, actually through, thanks to you, Evan.
Yeah.
Because you sent me the link. So thank you for that.
Thank you, MomoCon.
Thank you, MomoCon.
They posted the link, and I was like, oh, Dylan will probably be interested in this.
How about that? Almost makes you feel like the $80 a ticket is worth it or whatever,
You spent $80?
I don't remember how much it is. Whatever.
For Black Adam?
No, I'm talking about MomoCon.
Oh, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Nah,
I'm like, you cannot, like, it's not worth it. That a week early cannot be worth it.
It was free.
Oh, it was free?
It's
really?
free.
You didn't pay for the movie?
The screenings are free.
Oh, I didn't realize
when you
that.
get those early screenings, yeah.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
But so for those of you that don't know, I'm very famous and important.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
Nah, it's basically a press screening that happens about a week, 2 weeks typically before a movie comes out.
You saw both DC movies this year early.
Did I?
We saw the Batman early, remember? We saw it on Wednesday.
We saw it a day early.
Yeah, we saw it on Wednesday.
Huh. WB.
Yeah.
WB. How about that? I'm a huge WB fanboy. But the way it works is basically
I will say the Batman
Evan
was also thanks to me. I just wanted to get that out there.
That is true. And also thanks to that guy being a pussy.
That's true.
And not making me get up out of a seat.
But anyway, sorry.
Watch the Batman episode for that story.
I apologize for interrupting. Continue.
Yep. Please watch the Batman episode for that story. But anyways, basically they fill up the theater halfway or really a third with press, and then they let whatever fans get in to see the movie as well, just basically for, hopefully they'll post it on social media, be like, oh, Black Adam was that big.
Oh, the press was there?
The press is always there for those like, they're kind of fan screenings, but it's really like a press screening, and they're like, we might as well get some free.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that they were there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're always there. They always have the press reserved seats and whatnot. I got terrible seats. I was trying to get my friend to go with me. He couldn't quite make it in that ATL traffic.
But was he working?
He was working, and then getting to the theater in Atlanta traffic is pretty nuts. Yeah. But I was able to see it. They give you free popcorn, free drink.
That's nice.
That's pretty nice. And the Rock's body double was there.
That's nice.
The Hawkman was there.
He was.
The main mom character was there. Like the Sonic cop, like human character, the POV character. But... You know what I mean?
No.
It's like in Black Adam.
Oh, it's like her and like the fat guy,
It's like the human POV character,
okay,
basically.
Okay.
And she is gorgeous. She's
well, good to hear.
But Black Adam, Evan, in general, I enjoyed the movie a lot. Like I said, I did have terrible seats, but that's all right. That's okay. I got there slightly late.
Were you like close to the front?
I was in like the third row from the front.
Yeah.
So pretty bad, but that's okay.
And what kind of theater was it like? Because sometimes sitting too close to the front isn't too bad, depending on the theater.
It was a pretty big one, a pretty big auditorium. I would say it probably seated over 100.
It was like, was it like kind of like, oh yeah, it's at Regal, right? It was at Regal.
Yeah, it was at
Okay,
Regal.
so yes, so if you're at Regal, sitting to the close to the front is bad.
Yes.
Because you're like going to break your neck.
Yes,
yeah,
I sure did. And if I wanted to see the left side of the screen, I had to look over.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, it was bad. But I did enjoy the movie, dead ass on God. I had a good time.
That's good to hear.
If you like DC and you like superhero movies, I think you'll enjoy it. Evan doesn't enjoy either of those things.
I do like superhero movies. Spider-Man 2 is literally my second favorite movie of all time.
Okay, that's fair. Then watch Black Adam. It might be for you.
No, I don't think so.
But I had a great time. I had a good time. If you like Shazam, Aquaman, Wonder Woman...
And I like the Batman.
You do like Batman? Okay, well, that's fair. That's fair. It's good. I enjoyed it. And I think I have a hot take about it that I do want to mention. It's the last thing I'll mention, and we can move on from Black Adam.
No, we can talk about it. I want to know all your opinions.
Well, first of all, Pierce Brosnan was fantastic.
That's good to
as Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate was handled impeccably.
That's good to hear. Was he like James Bond?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, okay.
He did have like a secret little lair.
That was a joke.
I'm not kidding. He kind of was. He had like gadgets and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So kind of. And of course, like anything he does that's like action oriented, it's like a CGI or like stunt double, and then like occasionally he'll take off the helmet and like the body changes shape because it's really Pierce Brosnan. So that's kind of funny, but his like story arc, I don't want to spoil anything, because it's not even out yet because I'm very special and I saw it early.
That's true.
But Dr. Fate's whole arc was good. I will say the movie felt very like by committee. Honestly, by committee is not even a good way of putting it. It feels very like screenplay, like what's the word? Color by number, paint by number, like screenplay.
I can see that.
Yeah, there was like, you know how they do that like callback shit in movies where it's like, like you weren't kidding about that. Like, or like a character says something that someone said back to them. Hawkman and Dr. Fate have like 3 of those.
Oh, yeah.
That are separate. They're like, that sounds like something I would say. Where it's like they do that back and forth like 3 times with 3 different things.
That's pretty bad.
That was distracting. Like, but in general, Dr. Fate was really good. Hawkman was pretty good. Honestly, what's his name was not that the Rorschach kid. There was the kid that plays Atom Smasher, which is kind of like the Ant-Man, Giant Man character in the movie.
Why didn't they just have the Atom?
I don't know. I think they were like, let's just burn some random characters that we don't care about. That like, if we ever recast them, it won't matter.
Oh, okay.
Like people won't really care because I feel like the Atom, and maybe the Atom is like too Ant-Man-y.
I guess.
Because I think Atom Smasher is like...
Ant-Man is too atomy. Because, of course, the Atom was before Ant-Man.
Well, isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Isn't that the truth? But I think Atom Smasher is more famous for getting big, and the Atom doesn't really do that.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
Well, okay, ask you, can the Atom turn big?
I've never seen him do it.
Oh, okay.
Personally. So, I don't know.
And Atom Smasher is just like, he can, like, rearrange his fucking molecules already or whatever, right? Like, so he can become big, small, whatever the fuck.
Atom Smasher, I don't know shit about, to be honest.
Well, I'm saying in the movie they don't really say.
Oh, in the movie, yeah, he gets big.
Yeah. Okay.
He's Giant Man.
Yeah.
You know.
He doesn't turn small, though?
Never, no.
Oh, okay.
No, and he doesn't turn anything else small. Like, he just has scenes where he grows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He wasn't that bad, but we mentioned the Rorschach thing. I wanted to mention that real quick.
Yeah.
There was an interview where they asked the guy who plays Atom Smasher, like, "Oh, if you could have anyone join the team in Black Adam, like the Justice
JSA,
Society, who would you have join it?" And this dude says Rorschach from Watchmen.
Chad answer,
which is just.
I like that. I like that he didn't give a fuck. He was just like,
he didn't give a fuck.
I'm gonna say whatever character I like.
It's very similar to that. Jake Gyllenhaal, where they asked him like, "What's your favorite Marvel movie?" And then he just copies Tom Holland's answer in the interview. It's similar to that, but it's really funny to me that he could have said Superman, Wonder Woman, or Batman, and that would have worked. Because
I think he already knew that they were like, "Oh, they're Justice League." You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of like the general knowledge, but like JSA is like a catch-all, kind of.
Yeah.
Like pretty much anyone can be a JSA member,
and
anyone has been a JSA member, even more so than the Justice League. So it's just funny to me that he didn't pick like a big character or something. Like this dude just Rorschach.
No, I like that he just chose the character he likes.
Yeah, the character he likes. He's like, let me play him. Matter of fact, I'll do good. But yeah, that was pretty funny. But he was decent in the movie. So was like Whirlwind or whatever the fuck her name is. She was fine. All of the effects were pretty good, I must say. Better than films such as Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh, well, that's not,
It's not too hard, but they did it.
That's true.
Yeah, it went to theaters and it does look better than that. Like the whirlwind powers look cool. She like whips a bunch of like pikes into people and stuff like that. Black Adam is a murderer, unabashedly.
Oh, yeah, he does say that. He said, "Well, I do."
And this is a slight.
That's not how The Rock sounds.
Not even close. Not even close.
Well, I do.
Well, I do. That's how he sounds.
That sounds like a bird.
But one thing I will slight spoiler. One thing I will spoil. I thought maybe the like moral of the movie would be Black Adam is like, okay, well, I won't kill anymore,
But no, you
that was not even close. No, that was not the moral, which was kind of awesome.
That was what we were saying should have been the moral in the Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
they kind of messed up. No, I'm just saying it made me think of that.
Yeah, but that's a whole different.
That was how we were saying, how the movie could have been better. But they were so scared to make Batman kill because of previous backlash with the former actor who played Batman.
Yeah. But it makes more sense.
I was trying not to say his name.
Oh, really?
No, I'm joking. I'm trying to make it sound like, that person we won't speak of.
He who will not be named. Yeah, we have beef with him personally. But I really like that. Because Black Adam...
Well, he's a villain. He's a super villain.
He is a villain, and he also, like... He violently murders people in Black Adam, and I liked it a lot. And the JSA, they get really pissed at him, and he just won't stop, and it goes through the whole movie. It's really cool.
Well, so he's like an anti-hero, right?
Oh, okay. This is what I was gonna say earlier. Was like the last thing I wanted to say about the movie. So, this is controversial, Evan. You might laugh at this.
Okay.
This is my take, though. This is like a better Black Panther.
Huh?
In my opinion.
Well, just hearing that kind of makes you say what?
It's
like not that like not saying like there's no way it's better than Black Panther. It's just like the fact that you're comparing.
You wouldn't expect the comparison.
Exactly. Yeah.
But this movie, even though it is still.
Black Panther's not a great movie.
Well, everyone else thinks it is.
Well, that's true.
The general public.
And the general public thinks the MCU in general is great. So,
but my point is about Black Panther. Black Panther is about, like a perfect society in secret that's like a black society.
Yeah.
But in Black Adam, there's not really a race issue, but it's like a nationality issue, where it's like you're coming in our country and like stealing our shit and like subjugating us. It's not really a race thing, it's more of like a country thing.
Yeah.
But I think it does what kind of Black Panther wanted to do like way better in that way. Because there's actual like usurpers and fucking like Western militaries coming and
Well, I don't think Black Panther was really even on that anyway, because that wasn't really the plot of the movie. It was that they didn't want that, but that wasn't like actually happening in the movie.
What I'm saying though is Black Panther tries to.
I feel like it's the opposite, because the moral.
Hold on.
I'm saying based on what you're saying so far,
just hold on.
It does not sound that similar.
Just hold on. So what I mean about Black Panther is like you have that line at the end of Black Panther where, and it's a good line and it's a good moment, but Killmonger talks about slavery, and he talks about. And then they have that thing where they're trying to avoid being, like you said, like they're trying to avoid being, I don't know, what's the word, exploited.
Yeah.
But in Black Adam, a lot of the movie is about that, whereas like in Black Panther, it's just lip service.
I don't know if I really agree.
Why not?
Because like well, what do you mean that it was lip service?
Well, because there's no characters that are like affected by.
Because like the moral of the movie at the end of Black Panther is that like, oh, we were being selfish by not opening up to the world. It wasn't really a race thing. It was just like.
But I'm saying like the lip service of Killmonger at the end being like. Talking about slavery and stuff, which I do think is a good line. It's a good moment, but it just feels like tacked on.
I don't know if I agree.
You don't agree with that?
No. Why is it tacked on? I don't really understand.
Because Killmonger at the end of Black Panther, he says like.
He said he didn't want to go to prison because he didn't want to live.
Yeah, he says like I'd rather die like my ancestors that jumped off the slave ships. But like you're a terrorist.
What? I guess.
So I don't know. It just feels like lip service to me.
Well, I mean, yeah, he was. Wait, is he a terrorist?
Yeah.
I get well, like he's not a good guy, but a terrorist.
He's a terrorist, a usurper, a murderer, whatever you want to call him. He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Okay. My point is, I think whatever. I think there's a more fleshed out message about nationality in Black Adam opposed to Black Panther. That's my point.
I guess so, but for me, it's just like I don't really even see it being about that in general.
I don't think Black Panther is about much of anything, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I think what they try to have it be about a little bit is like nationality and race. But I don't think. I didn't mean to say that like I'm talking to you, but.
I don't know if I agree. I really don't know if I agree.
Well, it's not like you'll ever rewatch Black Panther or watch Black Adam.
You're right. So I'm not going to watch it either. So it doesn't really matter.
It will be nebulous from this point on.
Yeah.
But my point is, I think even without the Black Panther comparison, I think the movie handles that kind of the United States, which is pretty ballsy. It's not the United States government. It's a made-up DC thing called Intergang. But it's basically like a pretty obvious stand-in for like when the United States positions themselves. What's the word? Occupies.
Mm-hmm.
When the United States occupies a foreign country for, under the guise of, like, spreading democracy or whatever, but they're really there, to, like, steal resources and oppress people. Whatever. Yeah. They actually do that in Black Adam. Mm. And Black Adam is, he's not, like, a hero or a villain. He's supposed to be that country's protector, which I thought was pretty badass. Mm. Like, that's a cool angle. It's better than him being like, oh, I'm not a villain or a hero. Like, it's a little deeper than that, Mm-hmm. Like, he's supposed to be the country's protector, like, whether it's he's doing evil shit or not. Yeah. Like, you should stay the fuck out of his country, which I kind of like. Mm-hmm. It's kind of epic.
Yeah. Wow.
Any more thoughts on that, Evan?
I'm never going to find out because I'm not
going to watch it. You'll never find out. But I thought that was pretty well done. And seeing Black Adam, incinerate all those guys and brutally kill them all was pretty cool. Mm. And he rips in half a devil. Oh. A big devil guy. That's cool. The villain's a big devil.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah, it is. It is. He has a big pentagram on his chest. He has big horns. He's red. He has, like, bloody eyes and stuff.
It's like Tenacious D.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty much like he's fighting the Tenacious D guy, and he rips him in half.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So, shout out Black Adam. Mm. I had a good time. It was a little bit, maybe a little bit deeper than I expected. No. It's not, I wouldn't call it deep, but it actually had, a theme, and I liked it.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
And there's one part where Black Adam's in a kid's room, and, like, he gets scared awake, and then, like, shoots out lightning on accident, and then it explodes a poster of Superman in the face.
That's stupid.
It was cool. It was badass.
Dwayne Johnson's annoying. He's like, yeah, I made this so we can fight Superman. Like, shut up.
The power structure is about to change.
Shut up, dude.
You are correct, Rock. You are correct. Thank you, Dwayne.
And also, like, I don't like him because he's the reason that Henry Cavill came back, so...
I don't really like that Henry Cavill came back.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted them to reboot Superman, like the Batman style.
I guess this is a spoiler.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, but, yeah, Henry Cavill comes back in the end credit scene.
Well, Dwayne Johnson literally spoiled it.
Yeah, you're right.
So, it's fair game, I say.
He did spoil it himself.
Yeah.
Long before the movie came out.
Yeah, so it's fair game, I say.
Yeah, sure. I like that he has a little more yellow.
Yeah.
One thing I also like, real quick, last thing, promise. I like that Viola Davis is back. She's in it.
Oh, I didn't know she was
as Amanda Waller. I love that character, and Viola Davis is a good actor. So.
That's cool.
I hope they use her more in future movies.
That's cool.
Yeah. Amanda Waller is badass.
Yeah, I liked her in the Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad.
Yeah, she's pretty good. Yeah. It's crazy that she's, like... I feel like she's never really done anything in the movies, and she's been in, like, 4 movies.
Yeah, she didn't do anything, but she was fine. Like, she was like, oh, I liked her.
It's just such a good character and such a good actress that it's a shame that she doesn't do much.
Yeah.
And they really wasted her in the first Suicide Squad. But anyways, easy 2 out of 3 stars.
That's
for
good.
Black Adam.
That's good.
What do you give Halloween Ends?
I give it a 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10?
Yeah.
It was finished.
It was bad.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's about 30 minutes. I think everyone's gotten their fill.
Yeah.
On Black Adam and Halloween. Are you ready to talk about In the Mouth of Madness?
I am.
Classic movie.
Yeah.
Evan, who and what and why is about this movie?
Who and what and why?
Give us the details.
Well, of course, as you mentioned, this is a John Carpenter film. When they come out, what, like 95, I think? Yeah, it came out in 95, I'm pretty sure.
Something like that.
Yeah, 95. It's about a guy, and then, what is he like? He's like an insurance claim investigator.
Yes. A private insurance claim investigator. Named John.
He works for himself. He gets hired by this publishing company to find the author. I guess their what's the insurance on that? It's like
his life. No, it really is. Yeah, because they're trying to see if he's dead or not.
Yeah.
So the publishing company is looking into Sutter Kane.
Yeah, Sutter Kane.
It was a Stephen King stand-in.
Or I was gonna say, or an H.P. Lovecraft stand-in, as well. His stories are definitely more Lovecraftian than they are Stephen King.
Well,
as we will get into. Especially his latest novel that the film is, of course, titled after. And, of course, that title is taken from an H.P. Lovecraft novel.
Yeah.
In the Mountains of Madness. So.
Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. Yeah, that was not a great title for that film.
Every movie that pays homage to H.P. Lovecraft in the title is good.
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, this one is... We'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, so he's just like... they hire him to basically find out, hey, where's this guy? Because he's been missing for 2 months. And then some wacky shit starts happening.
Oh, some crazy stuff.
Yeah, because, of course, his new book just came out. What's it called? Whatever's End. It's like Hobbs' End.
Oh, yeah.
Hodge's End, some shit like that. What is it?
I think it is Hobbs.
Hobbs' End? Yeah, because I was thinking Hobbs and Shaw when they said it. So Hobbs' End, yeah. Hobbs' End Horror. Hobbs' End's Horror, something like that. The Hobbs' End Horror, I think it was.
Yeah.
Because Hobbs' End is like it's a fictional place, let's say.
Or is it?
Yeah. Well, or is it? I don't know.
Or is it?
Yeah, you really... who knows?
I actually do... I have mixed feelings on this movie, but there is one line I want to get to later that kind of confirms or like unconfirms whether or not like let's say the mechanics of the movie. So we'll get to that a little bit later.
Okay.
But that's my favorite line, and I do want to make a mental note to come back to it. So this insurance adjuster is looking out for Sutter Kane, yeah. He's got to find him.
And, wacky shit starts happening.
Oh, nutty stuff.
Yeah. And that's pretty basically what the movie is about.
It sure is.
Yeah. The books start coming to life, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I first heard about this movie, I was very interested. Because I find Stephen King, as a person, very interesting.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see a movie, kind of satirizing him as a person. A movie kind of poking fun at him, maybe making what's the word? And then also like turning him into a horror story, as it were.
That's interesting.
Which that sounds a lot more interesting than this movie is, doesn't it?
I was gonna say it sounds interesting, but is it original? Maybe it was at the time, but is it now? Not so much. And that was, as I mentioned to you before earlier, part of the reason I did not enjoy this film as much as I probably could have is because at this point I'm just so tired of films are like breaking down the mechanics of fiction or whatever. You know what I mean? But I will say this actually came out 2 years before Scream. And it's very similar, I think.
Yeah.
Especially that they're both focused on horror.
Yeah, they're both horror satire.
Yeah. Whereas Scream is more... I feel like this is more generally focused on horror just in general.
Like a horror story in general.
Exactly, yeah. And then Scream is like about...
Specifically slasher movies.
Yeah. So, but I thought that was interesting. I was like, I feel like this kind of did something Scream did before Scream actually did.
This movie crawled so that Scream could walk.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah. And of course, Wes Craven is another legend, similar to John Carpenter, who already kind of owed some favor to John Carpenter because not owed him favor, but like he's in his debt, I guess you could say, because of course, would there be a Freddy Krueger without a Michael Myers? Probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
So there you go, Wes Craven. You keep writing John Carpenter.
Didn't they have like a bit of a back and forth or something like that?
Maybe. I don't know.
I think they had like references to each other in their movies. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
It's possible. I really don't know.
Because I think there's like a ripped up like Friday the 13th poster and I don't fucking know.
I really don't. I have no idea.
Like little jabs at each other. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else in Wes Craven. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But yeah, I definitely agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I am very sick of meta stuff.
Yeah.
Especially, like, for me, through the lens of, like, superhero stuff. Gets very old very quickly. And in general, I've never been a fan of movies or stories that make you think about real life. You know what I mean?
I don't think I would agree with that. Maybe the way you're wording it, I'm not sure about.
Yeah, I'm not wording it great, but what I mean is...
Because I like when I watch a movie, I'm like, oh, it's like something I watch and that like I can relate to my own life. You know what I mean? I like that.
Of course, every story, there's an element of, like, I can relate to this.
Yeah.
Because they're human beings. There's, like, universal human truths, whatever.
Yeah.
But what I mean is, movies like Scream or Deadpool or this, they insist that you have a knowledge of that genre or have a knowledge of whatever. And I still think Scream is a good movie in a way that this movie isn't.
I like Scream more. I agree.
For sure.
I agree. It's just more entertaining, I think.
Yeah, and it's just... Yeah, just more... Yeah. It's well executed.
Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of my thing with this movie, too. I'm maybe getting a bit ahead of myself, but I just didn't think it was... It's like, even though I'm tired of the meta commentary, I understood what they were doing with it, and it made sense, and it was intelligent, I think. But the movie itself, I just didn't find very entertaining.
Once the movie was like... Because I was starting to get tired, no lie.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I'm watching a horror movie in the middle of the day, and I'm getting tired, that's not a good sign. And I was literally thinking, like, I might have to pause this and take a nap.
Yeah.
And then I realized that the movie was almost over. And I
it
was
is
like,
short. It is only like 90 minutes.
It is 90 minutes, about 90 minutes. Paid $4 for it on YouTube.
Oh, really? I paid $3 something for it on Amazon.
Ah, jeez. Should have checked out Bezos. But yeah, it did not do much for me.
Yeah.
It did not do much for me. But just to touch back on kind of the meta stuff real quick, I think that's kind of an important thing to get off my chest. You know, to talk about.
Well, that's kind of like the crux of this entire movie.
I think that's a key thing too to why I don't like these kind of movies. Is it like kind of. It's like adaptation.
Yeah.
Remember when we were talking about, what's that Genie movie? 3,000 Years of Sorrow.
Yeah, 3,000 Years of Longing. Yeah.
So that movie adaptation, I think everything takes a back seat to the meta commentary. I think that's why Scream works, is because that feels like flavor. Like, the meta stuff feels like flavoring, where it's like their motive is that they're... they're consumed by this shit, but it's really kind of like a real thing still.
Yeah, I agree. That's, you worded it better than I could have, I think. Yeah.
Oh, well, good. But I think that it doesn't feel like this is a horror movie. It feels like it's a meta movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, like, in Scream, that kind of feels real. Because, like, it's like these insane fucking teenagers are obsessed with slasher movies, and then they start killing people.
Scream is based on a true story.
Well, I'm not surprised.
The kids that really did it in real life were not nearly as cool as the kids
it's not
in
Matthew
Scream.
Well, Matthew Lillard's cool. I don't like the other guy, Billy. He was creepy. I didn't like him.
Well, I mean, they're still cool, But yeah, the kids that did that in real life are fucking dunderheads. But yeah, it's like an interesting motive. It's like an interesting movie.
Yeah.
This movie,
and also I did like.
Go ahead.
Even though it's like kind of meta, I like the commentary better in Scream because it's like, some people take this obsession too far. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, that feels very real and true to life. It's something that, it's like you said, it's more than just, breaking down like the elements of a horror movie or whatever. You know what I mean? There's a bit more going on in Scream. So, for that reason, I appreciate it more.
Yeah, there's not much character
in this?
In The Mouth of Madness.
No, because of course, as I mentioned to you, the film is led by Sam Neill, who I'm not hot on.
I'm not really huge on him either.
Yeah, so and he played so Jurassic Park, Event Horizon, this. It feels like he's the same character in all three of those films. Like he's like this smart. He's not a scientist in this. In Event Horizon and Jurassic Park, he's a scientist.
But he's still like a smart guy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? In this, he's not a scientist, but he's like a pretty smart guy. He's like the rational guy, I guess you could say. And it's like, in all three films, he kind of comes across something that's like, he has to suspend his belief for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like the smartest guy that like would never be duped.
Yeah, exactly.
That just has to see something insane.
Yeah. It's like, in Jurassic Park, he studies the fossils and shit, and then he sees a living fucking dinosaur in the modern day. And then in Event Horizon, he's like the scientist who worked on the ship, and then he sees, the way it actually literally went to, like, fucking hell. You know what I mean? So that already kind of, like, goes against science or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's always like, it's weird. He keeps playing like a very similar character, and he does. I feel like he doesn't have much range. Sorry, Sam Neill. I've heard Possession is great though. I have not seen it yet, so maybe I'll get around to watching that soon.
Is Sam Neill in Psych?
I have no idea.
I think he is.
He might be.
What in Possession? Does he play a priest?
I don't think so. I think he plays like, because it's about like a couple. I think he's the male in that couple.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't seen it. I
feel like Sam Neill might be the priest in Psych.
He might be. I don't know.
I don't know.
I've never seen Psych.
So if he is, he's great in that.
Oh yeah.
But otherwise, maybe not huge on him.
Yeah, I'm not so hot on him.
But yeah, but acting aside, if it was anyone else, I don't want to say anyone else because maybe someone could have carried this movie and made it more entertaining.
The character is just boring.
The character is not written very well. I mean, it's like a good setup on paper.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, this super rational, smart guy.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, oh, it sounds like it's like, oh, of course you're gonna make him be like face like the most insane fucking shit.
That's like the best person to make it go insane.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you can see the contrast.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has very little character.
Yeah.
And very little going on for him. And I think the movie is hurt by the bookend. I think the whole showing the end of the movie, then showing how it got there, and then showing the ending is like never done well.
Yeah.
Or if it is, it's very, very rare. It's a very cheap kind of... And interestingly, I guess, like, Deadpool's another meta movie that does the same thing.
Well, should we get in the movie a bit more? Talking about that?
The proper movie?
Yeah, talking with that.
Why, certainly.
Of course, the movie starts out with him being brought into this insane asylum. I will say, when I first started the movie, I was like, whoa, that took me by surprise.
Me too.
I was like, I wasn't expecting it to start like this. Because I knew he was like, I knew the movie's him looking for, like, the lost author or whatever. So I was like, wait, why is he being dragged into the fucking insane asylum? You know, that kind of took me off guard at the beginning of the movie. Of course, I've seen the image of him with the crosses on his faces. That's like one of the, like, you know, you see it on posters and shit. I think that was the Green Factory artwork. Was like him with the crosses on his face. But anyways, yeah, he's being brought into the insane asylum, and then someone, I guess it's like, not a cop. He's like maybe it was a doctor. I don't know. Someone comes to talk to him to ask him his story, like, oh, how the fuck did you end up in here? And it might be like a court-appointed kind of like psychiatrist. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like some shit like that. And he kind of briefly mentions like, oh, there's more shit going on, and like they kind of subtly mention like, oh, he's like the others, and you don't really know what they're talking about at first, and they start talking about, oh, what happened, and we go from there.
I thought that scene was great.
I did think it was a good scene. Yeah.
Probably, sadly, like maybe the best scene in the movie. In my opinion. Maybe. It's just good. It has a good.
It reminded me of Vanilla Sky a bit.
Vanilla Sky?
Yeah, Vanilla Sky came out after this.
What's Vanilla Sky?
The movie with Tom Cruise. But like a lot of the movie is like Tom Cruise talking to Kurt Russell, who's like he plays a similar role.
Psychiatrist type guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
He plays a similar role.
What is Vanilla Sky like in general about?
It's about this guy. Well, the movie's very. You know that movie kind of Matrixy. I wouldn't say it's like meta, but so Vanilla Sky, it's like this guy. He gets into a car crash at the night after he met this girl, who Penelope Cruz's character. He gets in a car crash with his like. It's not the other girl he was like in a relationship with. Well, it's like she sees that as serious, but for him it's just a fuck buddy, basically. Okay. Yeah. And then she's like, his side hoe. Yeah. Well, she's driving actually, and she basically tried to kill herself and take him with him.
And Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
oh
yeah. And then his face gets fucked up, and he has to get like surgical reconstruction. And then just kind of follows like, and then he's accused of killing Penelope Cruz's character. There's a lot going on in the fucking movie. And then he kind of just retelling the story to Kurt Russell's character, and then you find out. I don't want to get into spoilers. It's like it's very convoluted. It needs a few.
Is it a good movie?
But that's like the I do like.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
This is like kind of like a psychological crime movie.
Kind of, yeah.
Cool. I might check that one out.
Yeah.
I think I've heard that one's good, but I never knew.
Yeah, a lot of people shit on it, but I did like it. I did enjoy it.
Huh.
It definitely needs a rewatch. I only watched it once, so I will have to revisit it.
Well, I think that I'm Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Dilly with the tool.
Yeah.
No, sorry. I was just interested in. I never really knew what that movie's about. But yeah, so what were you comparing Vanilla Sky to again? Where were we at?
To this. Like him talking to the psychiatrist.
Well,
it's
right,
like
okay.
after he's gone insane, and then going back to when he was like more rational. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so about that opening scene, it's like the most concise and what's the word? It's the most personality I feel the movie ever has. Because it's like, I don't know, it's this guy that doesn't seem too crazy, but like kind of crazy. You know, he looks crazy, like his hair is greasy and stuff, but he's like, at first he's like writhing and like fighting them, kicks them in the nuts, the guy, and he's fighting back, but then he's like calm and docile in his cell, just like drawing the crosses. And then he's just smoking in the cell with the guy, and like he starts telling him the story. I think that whole scene is good. And they kind of, like you said, they subtly set up in the background, like, other people are doing this, or something's wrong with them in a similar way.
And also, you do get that part where, first I thought it was just kind of a joke, but then, you know, after you see the whole movie, you're like, oh, when he's screaming, I'm not insane, and then the other people, like, the other asylum, what do you call them? Inmates? Not inmates, I don't fucking know.
Patients?
Yeah, I guess patients. At that point, though, it's like, are you really a patient? It's more like being in fucking prison.
Oh, yeah, I guess, what do they call that? Invalid or something?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Anyways, they all start saying, oh, no, I'm not insane either. No, I'm not insane. You remember? But yeah, anyways.
But that was also kind of like a good subtle moment of like a, I guess not Lovecraft type horror, but it's kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you get locked up, whether it's jail or an insane asylum, and you're like screaming you're innocent, like so is everyone else.
Yeah.
You know? Everyone wants out. So it's like they're not gonna listen to you.
That reminds me of Shawshank Redemption. Do you remember? It's like, was that Shawshank Redemption?
I've never seen Shawshank Redemption.
When it's like, ask him what he's in here for. He's like, oh, I didn't do it. Like they're all saying I didn't do it. I'm pretty sure that was Shawshank Redemption. I might be wrong, but you should see it. Great movie. Anyways,
I actually I've seen bits and pieces over the years. Very famous movie. It was actually on. I'll have to figure out what channel it was on. We just got Vudu or something.
Oh, I can say, was it AMC? Because that's where I saw it for the first time. AMC used to play it a lot, and I think for the first time I watched it on AMC.
I don't know what channel it was on Vudu. It might have been AMC, but they played Back to the Future 1 and 2 and then Shawshank. And I was like, I gotta like turn the TV back on real quick, see what channel this was, because some good movies.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so good old Jurassic Park guy.
Sam Neill. Yeah.
John.
Was that his name in it?
John, yeah. So that's a bit of a flash forward.
Yeah.
And then the record scratches, and he says, well, how did I get in this situation?
Yeah.
Right. So then it backtracks, right, to kind of a day in the life of him.
Yeah,
where he, there's a good scene, too.
Yeah, cool.
He kind of puts the pressure on this guy, try and make him admit, that he's committing tax fraud. Not tax fraud, insurance fraud.
Yeah, insurance fraud.
Excuse me. So he puts the pressure on him. He turns the AC off.
Yeah.
In the office, he gives him a smoke, and he's kind of lays out that he's like, I busted you.
Yeah.
I busted you.
He like lit his fucking shop on fire or whatever to get the insurance money.
Yeah.
And all the stuff he said that he took all his belongings out before he lit it on fire or whatever. That was it, right? Like, and then
then he gave
some of it to his wife, and then
some of it to his mistress.
His Side-O.
Yeah.
And then his wife ratted him out, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I think, was it that he proved to the wife that he was cheating, and then the wife snitched?
Yeah, it was something like that, yeah. It's a good juxtaposition, because you're like, oh, this insane guy is actually very smart and calculated and rational, right? Oh, yeah. Some good juxtaposition there.
So it takes you back
the last scene.
And shows you his...
It's like, how did he end up there? Oh, my God.
It's like, my word! And then you get no satisfying answers or, follow-up. But yeah, so then you see, his day in the life. And I actually like this next part as well quite a bit, where the guy who hired him... They go out to lunch, I guess, after all is said and done. And that horrible fraudster is caught in his web of lies.
Yeah.
They go out to lunch to celebrate, and then he offers him a job. He says, my insurance agents are fucking idiots, and you'd be way better doing this. So do you want to come work for me full time? And he says, nah. And then in the background, in the window, an insane looking character.
He is.
He looked good.
He did look good.
You know, for like a
Yeah.
He was well costumed and make-upped as an insane person.
I agree.
And he lumbers slowly across the street, and you can see him. You know, it's like the point of view of the diner.
Mm-hmm.
They're sitting at the table, and in the window, you see this man lumbering across the street towards the window with an axe, in like a bathrobe, I think, with like bloodshot.
No, he wasn't in a bathrobe. He was like wearing like a I forgot what you call those jackets, like a John Constantine kind of jacket.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
it was like an open trench coat.
Yeah,
yeah.
A trench coat, of course. Yeah.
And then he's lumbering across the street with the axe.
Yeah. And
then he smashes the window open with the axe.
I did like that shot. That's very John Carpenter.
That
looked kind of Halloween-ish.
Yeah.
Like seeing Michael Myers in the back, with the unaware fucking victims in the front. Very John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Right?
You do like the well posed foreground.
Yeah.
With something spooky in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But I thought that was great because it was interesting too because whatever they were talking about, you get more information on John, the character of John. Through that conversation, you get more information on him. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm getting into the movie, I'm watching the movie, and I'm getting more information on John. But then you have, in the background as well, you can see like, well, this conversation's not gonna last too long. And he smashes in the window with the axe.
I was like, look behind you.
And then this is the first time also you see the wacky double iris, double pupil effect.
I did kind of like that.
I thought that was a good effect, but I feel like it was kind of misused in this movie.
What I didn't like about it is that it reminded me of the Mummy reboot.
Oh,
with
okay.
With Tom Cruise.
With Tommy C.
Yeah, you remember the main chick, the one Sophia Boutella, I don't know how you say her last name, the one that she plays, the mummy, the titular mummy in the film. Her eyes go like that or whatever.
I could not say that I saw the Tom Cruise Mummy.
I didn't see it either. I just remember that from the trailer.
Oh, the trailer?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was a really well done effect, but I don't know that it was effective here in this movie. I feel like it would have been better to have some more senses of realism in certain places that they didn't really. I don't know. It was a weird choice. Like I said, good effect, but weird choice. I don't think it really worked, especially there.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
I think it would be more effective to have the person that kind of starts off like the horror elements of the movie like properly, and then to have him have those eyes was kind of like, I don't know, weird. And also, there's an element of like the kind of cosmic horror. And the idea of him being put in a mental asylum and whatever. You don't want to see everyone as a monster. Like, you kind of want, it's like, that to be a normal guy. I don't know if you don't understand what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like,
kind of.
Like, it doesn't need to be fantastical yet.
Yeah, maybe I agree with that. Because I think, for the way I interpret the ending, it may have worked a bit better if it came later. But I don't know. We can talk about it. But
I feel like having a physical indicator of someone being, like, possessed or whatever is kind of... I don't think it's necessary in this movie. I don't think it works for this movie.
I don't know if I necessarily agree, but maybe they didn't have to show you that right away. You know what I mean?
Maybe at least later.
Yeah.
But
because I think that works for, like, the Lovecraftian elements of the movie.
I don't know. I feel like it gives it too much of a...
But it might be, in this case, for me at least, maybe blowing its load a little too early. But anyway, if we can get into it.
Yeah, I just think it lends itself more to, like, an explanation. Like, it'd be a little more crazy. Like, it's like in nature when, like, a frog is, like, purple, so it's going to be poison or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you wouldn't have that in, like, a cosmic horror type scenario. Like, why would the universe give you an indicator that someone's, like, insane? Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, that was a good scene, though.
Yeah, it was.
And, yeah, good old Sam Neill, he's paralyzed with fear.
Yeah,
and
of
then
course.
The handy-dandy police come and shoot him dead.
Shoot him up.
They shoot him dead. They empty their clips.
They did.
Into that guy.
Yeah.
But he says right before he's shot, Evan, what does he say? He says...
Do you know?
Do you read?
Or do you read?
Do you read?
Or have you read? Is that what he says?
I think him and then someone later. I think they say, "Do you read Sutter Kane?"
Oh yeah, you read Sutter Kane.
Who says that later? I don't remember.
I can't remember.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
And he says nothing, and then the police shoot him.
Oh yeah, shoot him dead.
They shoot him dead.
World's fastest acting police.
Probably.
Great police.
Probably.
In that town. So yeah.
That poor gentleman.
And now he's dead.
Yeah.
And then what else happens, Evan? What happens next?
Well, then he is called up, right, by the
publisher.
Yeah, by the publisher. Or had he already been called by them before that?
I don't think so.
No, he did. He was already, because he was talking, because he mentioned Sutter Kane right before that happened.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So he was he knew he was going to be taking on this case soon. I think that was part of the reason he's like, yeah, I can't really.
Oh yeah, I think he mentioned to the guy that was trying to hire him, like, oh, I'm gonna work for like the publishing company.
Yeah.
But yeah, then basically he goes to the publishing company.
Yeah.
And kind of starts questioning them about the job.
I would not right after that happens, I would not have taken this. I'm attacked by a man who said, do I read this guy's books?
And then shortly after you find out, of course, that was his agent.
It was, yeah.
That was Sutter Kane's agent.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe I don't want this job.
Yeah, I wouldn't have wanted it.
But did he even have a choice, Evan?
Did he?
Did he?
No, he didn't. He didn't. Or did he? We'll come to find out. We will come to find out. But so they give him the job, and basically he starts out just by because he knows nothing about this man or his books, even though apparently he's like a fucking he's like the biggest author in the world, basically in this world. I guess kind of like Stephen King in that way.
Yeah. Well, they name drop Stephen King twice.
Yeah, they do. They do.
And I've heard someone kind of complain about this movie or whatever, where they're like, well, why are they mentioning Stephen King if this guy is supposed to be Stephen King? I think it's just supposed to be shorthand so you understand what he is.
Yeah.
You know, because if you just say oh, he's a huge author.
Well, I didn't even see him directly as Stephen King. For me, it was an analog of H.P. Lovecraft, Stephen King. Just kind of even R.L. Stein a little bit. You know
Maybe.
what I mean?
I don't think. I don't think he's really supposed to be.
Well, I didn't see him as an analog for one author. I thought it was just kind of a combination.
I don't think it's a 1-to-1 in any way, but I think he's supposed to just be Stephen King, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Well, because even the books, they all look like Stephen King covers, you know.
Well, but the stories are like H.P. Lovecraft. They also kind of look like. That's why I brought up R.L. Stein. They kind of look like Goosebumps covers a little bit too. But anyways, what was I saying?
We're talking about when he goes to the publishing.
Yeah. He says, "I don't read. So I don't know anything about this motherfucker." So he starts reading his books, and of course,
well, the assistant as well is there.
Yeah, the assistant
who winds up going with him.
Yeah. Later. Yeah. After he makes his discovery.
Yeah, and she's a fan.
Yeah.
That also works, for the publishing house.
And they mentioned about how his writing's become more erratic recently.
Yeah.
And his fans have been having similar reactions to reading it. They've some people have started having weird reactions to his novels.
Oh.
Going a little crazy.
Going a
little nuts, of course.
You want to get nuts?
Yeah.
Let's get nuts.
They are.
What is that from, Evan?
Someone calling.
What is that from?
I don't remember.
Can you tell me? Batman.
Oh, Joker, yeah. China was in Joker.
Hello? Sorry about that. We just had a bit of an adventure,
We did.
Wonderful family member of mine had a tragedy befall him, so we had to help him out of that scenario.
That's true.
It took 3 acts, and it was very, there was an inciting incident, there was there was a midpoint, there was a Dark Night of the Soul.
True.
All 3 acts. It was a great adventure. But anyways, we're back.
We are.
My uncle's car broke down, so we went and picked him up. But now we're back to talk about In the Mouth of Madness, and we left off. We were talking about Evan.
His fans have been going crazy recently.
His fans, the publisher people kind of try and downplay it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's just like his weaker-minded fans are,
yeah.
you know.
And I like how they kind of mention, like, in the background a little bit. Like, you hear clips on the news and stuff like that. About people going crazy. But it's kind of, like, subtle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is that's cool.
It does kind of slowly get more nutty as the movie goes on. Because at first it's kind of like, oh, they're, like, rioting to see the book. But then it escalates, obviously, into, like, murder and, you know.
And whatnot.
And murder, yeah.
And whatnot. So he starts reading the books because he wants to get an idea of who this man is.
Yeah, because he doesn't have any anything to go off of pretty much at all.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, I guess if I read the books, that'll be something.
Yeah. And he's in the bookstore, and then another crazy fan with the double iris thing going on.
Yeah.
The guy with glasses, right?
Yeah.
What does he do?
He's just like, he sees you.
Oh, that's what he says. He sees you.
Which
scary.
that's something that like random characters say throughout the movie to him.
Yeah, he says he sees you.
Which was kind of lame. Like, I mean, it's like whatever, but it doesn't go anywhere. Like, I guess it indicates that he's being written by the author.
Yeah.
Or like being controlled or being, you know, watched. Or beckoned in some fashion.
Yeah.
By the writer, but
yeah. So it makes a little bit more sense later, but
it doesn't really do anything for me. Like, it's kind of lame.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's whatever. Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, I do like the nightmare sequence he has. So he reads all the books, and then there's a nightmare sequence where, what's it called?
He sees what he saw the night before.
Yeah, so he had been walking down the street, sees, like, some posters for Sutter Kane's latest novel, and then he sees a cop beating a guy. It's really weird the way he's beating him too. Yeah, he has him like bent over his knee and he's like pounding him in the spine like with his baton. And that was just weird.
Yeah, visual. And then he sees him and says, "Hey, you wanted to?" Wow, what a fucked up cop! What an evil cop!
Which was not real at all. That's how you know this is a work of fiction. And then on the left, there's like this is one thing I did like, is that on the left there's like graffiti that says "See You," like the letters "See You."
Yeah.
And then later, after
nightmare.
he reads the books in the nightmare, he, you know, like you said, that he dreams about that moment, and then, or wait, does it say CU or CA? I think it says CA,
something like that,
because it shows the cop like beating the guy.
Yeah,
and then
later it says he can see you,
and then it pans over, and in the nightmare it says he can see you.
Yeah,
which I liked that. That was like a cool element. It's one of the few times in the movie where I think like imagination is played with like effectively, and I think really like cosmic horror and horror like this is really like imagination based.
Yeah.
And there's also an element of this movie, I forgot to look up the name of it, but there's a cryptid or a monster. It's in Supernatural. It's also in other stuff, but it's like a monster or a being or whatever that exists solely because of the belief of it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So this movie kind of plays with that a little bit.
It does.
And I think one of the cooler things is like, it does kind of show his progression there into that, where his dream is kind of like pushed more towards, you know, the narrative of like whatever the author's doing to him and shit like that, you know. And
they about the believing it makes it reality or whatever. They do kind of compare like the story to religion throughout the movie. Just to touch on that a little bit.
Very heavy-handedly.
Yeah.
There's like two of my least favorite scenes have to do with that actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you want this kind of story to be abstract. I mean, you want there to be like a through line or like, you know, some cohesion or whatever, but you also want it to be abstract, and I don't want the characters like spoon feeding me what it is.
That's true.
It kind of defeats the purpose, in my opinion.
That's true. But I do kind of like that comparison a little bit, because it's like, I mean, this sounds like some Joker shit, but it's like, oh, like everybody reads the Bible and it's like, oh, it's fine, but you believe these horror stories and you're insane.
You're fucking crazy.
So I don't know.
Doesn't seem fair.
It's not deep or anything, but I guess that's kind of interesting a little bit.
Yeah, like what? I mean, what is the difference? You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of, you know, it's not a bad observation. But just that one scene where the author is like, more people believe in me than the fucking Bible.
Yeah, I did not like the actor for Sutter Kane.
I liked his look.
He looked interesting. But you know what he reminded me of? He looked like Benedict Cumberbatch in Sherlock.
Yeah, kind
That's
of.
what he looked like to me.
Like the poofy hair and like the trim black.
Yeah,
like,
the jacket.
whatever,
Yeah.
I could see that, but I liked his look. He looked more like Neil Gaiman than
Stephen King.
Stephen King.
Yeah.
I like his look. It kind of worked for me, but I didn't like the actor. I think this movie.
Either.
I think if I could change one thing about this movie, I would make the main character the author.
Perhaps.
I think
change the story a little bit.
That's kind of before I had seen this movie or really knew that much about it.
That's what I thought it was about.
I
too.
thought that's what it was.
Me too.
It was like a Stephen King guy that like his stories start coming true.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, is he going insane writing these stories?
Yeah.
that probably would have been a little bit more interesting.
I think it cuts the fat out a little bit,
and also it just sounds like a more interesting. Like I'm more interested in an author than this private insurance investigator.
especially since you're making this whole movie like this meta movie about scary stories.
Yeah, and also I think it would have given you a chance to dive into the stories a little bit, because that's something I didn't like about this movie either, is that they talk about the story coming to life, but we know so very little about the actual stories.
That's why when you were like, oh, his stories are a little more Lovecraft than Stephen King.
That's just based off what we get from
like,
In the Mouth of Madness.
Are they? I don't know.
With the creatures or whatever, because it's like Cthulhu and whatnot. And there's one line specifically that they use that reminded me of In the Mountains of Madness, but we can get into that later in the movie.
The town we do see, which is like constructed by him as like his most recent book, that's like
Stephen King.
That's very Stephen King-y.
Yeah. It reminded me of Resident Evil 4.
I could...
Like when all their villagers are like out with the axes.
Yeah.
And that, they reminded me of Resident Evil 4.
Dude, that one part... Okay, this brings me back to the nightmare. I thought this was in the village, but it's not. Oh, wait, is it? I don't know. Basically, one of the cooler like horror type parts is they're all kind of... I think it is in the nightmare. Mm-hmm. When all the citizens start walking up to him.
Yeah, it's a bit of foreshadowing, because, of course, that's what he sees later when he's at Hobbs End.
Yeah.
Because at first, in the nightmare, he's like stuck between the cop and all like the people with like the axes and whatnot coming towards him. And then that's the exact visual you get later in the movie.
Oh, yeah, so it does... Okay.
Yeah, so it does... Yeah.
But either way, yeah, I love the, like... I don't remember who it is in the middle talking to him. But he's like, he can see you, is that right?
Yeah.
Does he say that? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, there's a guy in the middle of the mob, and they all have weapons. And then the guy says something, and he says, he can see you, like the guy in the middle. And they all turn on the guy in the middle and start fucking destroying him with axes. Start killing him, yeah. And then, like, one of the girls, like, picks up the axe and starts eating the flesh off it or whatever. Yeah. That was one of the cooler horror parts. Mm-hmm. And it just felt so, like, unnatural and, like, you know.
Yeah.
It was dreamlike. That's a dreamlike thing to happen.
Yeah.
So... I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. That first dream sequence is pretty good.
Well, as I've said in the past, I think I mentioned this on the podcast, my dreams are always very normal, very boring. Yeah. I always have, like, really, like, grounded in reality dreams.
But even if they are grounded in reality, do you not have, you know, like, say you're at work in your dream, and then you go to the bathroom and you come out of the bathroom and you're somewhere else. Like, you're at home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that
like,
does
shit
happen.
like that.
Like, nonsensical shit.
Like, because, all these zombie people are clearly on the same side. He speaks for them and then gets murdered with axes by them. Yeah. Like, that's kind of like dreamlike, you know?
I know what you mean, yeah.
In the nonsense. I like that.
Yeah.
And like I said, the whole, like, graffiti on the wall changing from real life to, like, further, like, his little descent into the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah.
I like that. So far, so good, you know?
Yeah.
In my opinion. It doesn't really fall off. You know, it's not bad immediately.
I think that, like, I thought it was like, oh, like, this is kind of intriguing. Like, nothing super grabbed me, but it's like, oh, okay, where's it going? I think it gets worse once they get to Hobbs End.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. See, after the nightmare, that's like when he's looking at the books again, and then he realizes, oh, they kind of, like, come together.
Which was, that's kind of stupid already, but that's alright.
Well, I don't even know how you just, like, look at that and see that, but it's whatever.
He wrote it. He was written to do that.
Well, that's true. That's true. That is true.
So, still stupid, though.
Yeah. Maybe John Carpenter's actually poking fun at writers
like contrived horror stories and stuff like that.
No, like, not even necessarily that. Just writing in general, how it's like, oh, you write, like, something so convenient for your hero, you know? Let's put it like that. It's actually genius. John Carpenter's poking fun at that.
Yeah, I guess.
I was joking, but maybe.
You could interpret it that way. I
guess you could, based on the way the story is. He's like, yeah, sure, why not? You can say that.
Yeah, it's like...
Made me look better.
Schlock. Because that's the thing, that's another thing, too, about meta stuff, is you can wave away a lot of criticism.
Yeah.
With meta stuff or satire,
mm-hmm.
and it's like just own it. Because I don't like being like, oh well, it was a commentary. Like, was it? Or was it just...
No, I was joking when I said that.
No, I know, but it's a good point. Like,
yeah.
it's an interesting thing to consider, too. Because, let's say not you, like,
mm-hmm.
hypothetically, if someone were to say, you know, like, oh, that's just, you know, he's making fun of shitty horror writers.
Yeah.
But you could still do that in a way that's more, like, clever,
mm-hmm.
or, like, has more purpose. Because... really, it doesn't even look like they designed any type of map onto those covers. It just looks like they cut up the covers in the shape of the corner of Idaho or whatever.
Yeah.
And just put it over the map. And then they were like, see? Like, it takes you to the...
Yeah.
I don't know. It just felt very, like, purposeless. And, like I said, the graphic design of the covers didn't even look like it matched up in any type of way. So
yeah.
I
didn't know where the dot was that they're, like, talking about. Like, oh, it's here.
I don't think you're even supposed to really care.
Yeah.
But...
it doesn't matter.
It was just, like, sloppy and lazy, in my opinion. Like, even if it is satire, it's like... you can make it more pointed and more specific. Like, it was just kind of lazy to me.
But yeah, that's what happens. And then, of course, Charlton Heston, who's like, the fucking, the main publisher, like the editor or whatever the fuck he is. Like the main publisher.
He's not the editor, but...
yeah, he's like the main publisher, dude. What, I don't know what he is. I don't know the title.
Because the editor is the girl.
Yeah,
that goes with him.
Yeah, he is whatever. He's a dude who makes some money.
Oh, he makes the big money.
Yeah. He's like, all right, you go look. He's like, I'm going to go look and see if it's BS. And he's like, well, I'm sending the editor with you.
Yeah.
And she's a bit reluctant, but she does go.
Yeah, he's a, you know, make sure you get nothing to hide.
And he's assuming at this point that it's a scam. Because he thinks like, oh, this must be like a publicity stunt. You know what I mean? Like, oh, the cover is lining up or whatever. So they go together. And they're driving in the middle of nowhere. They can't find Hobbs End. They can't find what they're looking for.
Well, they sure can't.
No, they can't. And then some wacky things start happening. Once she starts driving. Oh, no. At nighttime. Oh,
what about the part, Evan, where he honks the little horn?
Which part? Oh, when she's sleeping? Yeah, that's funny. Then she threw the chips at him. He said, don't throw chips at someone who's driving. Yeah. And yeah, it's true. You shouldn't throw chips at someone who's driving.
Oh, no. No. What a good moment.
Yeah.
That really endeared me to the character.
You should only throw chips at someone who's on a couch.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right.
I don't have any experience with that, but...
funny joke.
Funny joke. Now, once... I do want to mention that, because it was kind of funny. Once I had, like, a little get-together at my house.
That was too wild.
And it was too wild.
It was a mistake.
It was too wild. A lot of things were said, a lot of things were done that I regret. But...
over the course of 24 hours.
It could be an episode of 24 or something. It was pretty intense. But, yeah, there's one part where I don't...
one part, like it was a movie.
Yeah, there's one part. There was one scene where I smacked Andy with a bag of chips, right?
I thought you got hit with the chips. Or was it Andy? I can't remember.
I think I did it, but I don't know.
So it was Andy getting hit with the chips?
I think I hit Andy with the chips, but I'm not sure.
That feels a little bit nicer to you. Because you already went through some bullshit, and that other bullshit happened to you, so...
You know what it was? Andy hit me with a bag of chips, and then I hit him back. But mine exploded, and then I had to clean it up. Okay,
no, then it does sound worse.
That's what it was. That's what it was. But anyways, throwing chips. Yeah. You know, don't do that.
No. You didn't see in the Mouth of Madness show when that happened.
So that is one thing.
You wouldn't have known.
If I had seen this, I would have maybe considered it twice. But anyways, they get to the point where they switch drive, and it's a long drive. They switch drivers. The beautiful girl's driving now. One thing I did want to mention, Evan, is that I kind of like their looks for this type of movie. Like, they're both, they're not ugly, Evan, by any means. But they're both...
I would say the woman is quite attractive.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion.
But I think they look like people you could run into.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Sam Neill's pretty normal looking.
Yeah, I like that for this movie.
He looks like a professor at GSU.
Yeah, yeah. You look like you could, he could cut you off in Atlanta traffic.
Or that.
Or some such thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just like their looks. And like I said, I do like the look of the Stephen King guy. So props for that, I suppose.
I thought, him. I wasn't crazy about his look, and that he really didn't like the actors, but that's neither here nor there, I suppose.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. But anyways, they switch drivers, and Sam Neill takes his turn. He takes a bit of a nap at night, and the girl drives, and then there's a wacky kid in the road, in the mid center of the road, riding a bike, and then she continues down the street, Evan, does she not? And she sees the same person, I guess, and he's
kind of
older.
Old. Yeah,
I guess.
Got long hair.
Yeah, and then he's even older, I think.
And and then they run him over, or she runs him over,
and then she slams right on it.
Yeah, because she just like or he, whatever the fuck it is, just shows up right in front of the fucking car.
Yeah.
And they run into it, and they get out, and they're like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" And then he spookily gets up on the bike and rides away.
Yeah, and then Sam Neill didn't see any of that, and he was like, "Oh, is he okay?" Like, we'll tell the police when we get there or whatever.
He had a pretty calm reaction to that. Like, he went back to sleep right after that.
Yeah,
he's like, he did like I could not sleep after that happened. I would be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I'd be like, "I'll drive." Like,
yeah,
not because and then when they get
that's what I thought. Like, he was gonna be driving again, but the next scene he's like sleeping again.
He's like, "Oh, I slept the whole ride." Like, that's pretty funny, but like. That was the first time in the movie where I was like, this kind of sucks.
Yeah, I thought that was stupid.
Because I was like, what is this?
Yeah,
like,
and I didn't like how they looked either.
The design of, like, the weird, like, old kid or whatever. It was, like, lazy and...
Yeah. You know what it reminded me of? I can't remember what they call her in Donnie Darko. But remember when the dad almost runs her over and she's standing in the middle of the road?
I don't really
The lady
remember.
who, like, you know...
Is it an old lady?
Yeah, in Donnie Darko. Like, she, Was she the one who wrote the book about the time travel? I can't remember if she was the actual writer. Was she? Yeah, she was the one who wrote the book. I forgot what they call her, like Grandma Death or whatever. I can't remember. And she's like crazy now, yeah. But that's what it reminded me of, that kind of. They almost hit her and she's just standing in the middle of the road. But anyways, I thought about that when I saw, and like the hair is very similar.
We should have done Donnie Darko instead. But no, because that was the first time that I really thought, like, what, like, this is a... I can't see this, like, meaning anything. And it also wasn't tense or scary. It wasn't visually interesting. It was just, like, whatever.
Yeah.
There's a few more, you know... Most of the scares in this movie, I don't know if you can even call them scares. Mm-hmm. They kind of suck.
Yeah, I agree.
All the kind of tension and all the, like I said, I got tired, you know, like.
Yeah, I agree, because that was whatever. I thought it looked kind of cool when she like looked down and like it looked like they were like flying in the sky, like it was like lightning below them. That looked kind of cool, I guess.
I don't even know.
It was like after they kept driving after that and Sam Neill sleeping again, she like looked down. It looks like they're like in the sky. Yeah. And it's like, that looked kind of cool, I guess. And then next thing you know, it's like the day.
Transitions to them getting there. Yeah.
And they find Hobbs End. The mysterious.
It's a bit Lynchian.
Yeah.
Is it not?
I suppose.
A bit Lynchian.
I suppose. Yeah. It's like Twin Peaks.
But lame.
Yeah, they get there.
And then the next part is lazy, too. So they get there, and then, you know, they kind of establish it like, oh, it's like a picturesque, old-school American town.
Yeah.
And they're like, but no one's here. But then they see a group of kids. But then she's like, did you see those kids? And he's like, no.
Yeah. He didn't see them.
And
there's a dog also. First it's the dog running.
Yeah, and the dog.
And then it's like they're chasing the dog.
And it's like, who cares?
Yeah, see, this is already kind of part of my problem, too. Like how I mentioned, we don't really know too much about his stories. It's like, I think what's supposed to be going on in the town, kind of, it's like, because you get, like, the murder related, it's like kind of a mishmash of, like, different stories, but you know what I mean, and different kind of horror. It's like the evil children and the axe murderer wife, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like...
And, like, the church abduction
I guess,
thing.
Yeah. But it's like... It's... Not that it has to be, like, so played up, but it just feels like... I don't know, it's, like, too subdued.
Everything to me feels very aimless.
Yeah, it's, like, too subdued. I feel like if you want to make a movie about, like, you know, these different stories come to life, it should be kind of bombastic or whimsical, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
like, a little too subdued, in my opinion.
There's a game... It's an old school, not old school. I don't know. We're old, so it is kind of old school. It's like Dreamcast era. I think it might be on the Dreamcast. Mm-hmm. What is it called? Oh man, it's a cool game. What is it fucking called?
I don't know.
It's like Die Hard or something.
Die Hard.
It's not called Die Hard. It's something like that, though.
I don't know.
Shit. Either way, it's like a horror game, and it kind of does that. Like, every level is like a different genre.
Yeah.
Like, the first one is like an amusement park, and then like the last one is like a weird Toy Story thing.
I know exactly what
you know the game
you're talking about. Yeah, because we talked about this a while ago.
Right?
We watched some YouTube video.
Yes,
on it.
yes. Weird ass game.
It's for Dreamcast. It
is.
Yeah,
okay.
I can't remember what it's called. I know what you're talking about.
But I feel like they should have gone for something a little more like that.
Yeah,
where you can kind of feel the different stories that you're currently in.
Yeah, I agree. It's like it almost felt like this was kind of like on a budget. I don't know if you agree. That's how I felt watching it.
I felt that the first time I thought that was the church.
Mm-hmm.
Because they do the whole, like, well, this is real life. If you look out the window, there's no big elaborate church. And then she's like, well, it was actually the other window.
Yeah.
And then you look out the other window, and then there's the church.
Yeah.
And then when they actually walked out to the church, I was like, this looks so disconnected to the rest of the town. Like, I don't know, it's kind of distracting. And then I was like, this whole, like, town set is kind of trash.
Yeah.
I don't know. And that's kind of the first time that came to mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I was not crazy about that.
Yeah. But I think it also would have benefited, like you're saying, if it had more distinct sections.
Yeah, I agree.
Of different kind of movie.
I agree.
Or not movie, story parodies. Or whatever. Like if you had a sequence with like Children of the Corn kids and then, like a Cujo kids and like whatever.
Yeah, because I feel like if you have like, I guess maybe the dogs might have been a reference to Cujo. Maybe I didn't even think about that.
Well, I was just trying to think of
But when you said that, I didn't even think of that. I was like maybe. Yeah. Yeah, but I agree. It's like, I feel like if that's like the basis for the plot, you just go for it.
Yeah, like it's like Channel Chasers.
Yeah, like exactly.
Like that.
Yeah.
And maybe you could like amp it up where like the first thing you encounter is like maybe the dog.
Yeah.
It's like small, and then like the axe woman.
Yeah.
And then the children. And then the child that's abducted in the church.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And then the author or something. You work your way up and work your way. They don't overcome anything.
Yeah.
They kind of just. Well, these kids are zombie head.
Things just kind of happen.
Yeah, like these kids just have zombie faces.
Yeah, or the dogs just attack the village people.
Then, like the dogs,
they run out of the church.
Well, because the Stephen King guy like controls the dogs.
Yeah.
Like it's like Mr. Burns. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah, Mr. Burns from The Simpsons like release the hounds, and the hounds like look like those dogs.
They're like Doberman.
Yeah. It's exactly like that. So, Mr. Burns, it's pretty badass.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they go to the hotel, and then the editor recognizes the lady. She's like, "Oh, that's the axe murderer lady or whatever." He's like, "Oh no." He's like, he's denying all this. She's like, "No, it's bullshit or whatever." And then when they're upstairs, she's like, because all the shit she saw the night before, and then that, and she sees the painting moving also. Yeah. And she's like, "Oh, I think like the books are coming to life." That's when she started getting on to like what kind of happening. He's like, "This is reality." He keeps saying, "This is reality."
That's when he does the church thing.
Yeah.
She's like, actually, the church is here.
Yeah.
So, but there's also there's one thing I wanted to mention about that lady, and I think this is a good example of like the movie's going for this is inexplicable, this is unexplainable, this is abstract.
Yeah.
But something can be abstract and still matter. Like in a proper like David Lynch movie or something, there's confusing weird shit. Or like in The Shining, where it doesn't directly infer anything. Or like, I don't know if infer is even the right word. But you get it. It doesn't exactly mean anything, but there's some weird type of connection that like flows. In this movie, nothing feels like it flows into anything else or matters or like. Yeah,
I agree. Like I said earlier, things just kind of happen. Because like, does it really matter? Like, would the movie be any different if you had the axe lady or not? Not really. No. It'd be exactly the same.
And I thought there was gonna be like there's an opportunity for kind of I think a cool moment there. But let me say this one part first about the axe lady too. Is when they first meet her, or like shortly after, he's like, oh yeah, she claims to know you. Did you paint these? Like this painting? And she's like, oh no.
She said, hell no. I thought that was funny.
Like, yeah,
I did that.
She's like, hell no. And it's like, that doesn't wind up like meaning anything.
Yeah, not really.
Why does she deny it? Like,
yeah,
is it like she trying to throw him off?
What, did she paint it? I don't even know.
I mean,
I guess according to the book,
she must have if it's
right?
written, right? Because he like made her. I guess.
Okay, did she say that the lady painted it? I can't remember.
Yeah, well, I don't know if on screen. I don't know if on screen she says it, but Sam Neill says that's his name.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. The actor's name. Yeah. He asked her, but I didn't know if he was just like bullshitting because like he was like, oh yeah, she says she knows you. She didn't actually say that. She just knew like the character. You know what I mean?
Well, he says like, well, you can't say to a person like she says you're a fictional character.
Yeah. But you get what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, but my point being like she would have known that so I think by the movie's logic she did paint it. Mm-hmm. Because she read the book that she painted it in.
Yeah.
And then she denies having painted it. So like why?
Yeah.
Like why does all that means nothing? You know, to me, and it's not intriguing. There's nothing intriguing about it. It's just there.
Yeah, it's very boring.
Yeah.
I agree.
But one thing, a missed opportunity, I think, maybe with the axe lady, because you wind up seeing, her murdering her husband.
Yeah.
And she has weird tentacles coming out of her feet or something.
Yeah, she become like one of those creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like smashing them, and for some reason, I think she's an animatronic or like a puppet.
Yeah, it was like a puppet, I think.
And that looked pretty shit.
It was okay. I thought that was one of the better, like, cooler looking visuals in the movie.
It didn't look great to me,
in my opinion.
I don't think the actual like look of it, like that part looked cool.
Yeah.
But I don't like the actual like effect of the lady. I was like, why is she animatronic? I don't understand why.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. They didn't really bother.
Maybe the lady was like,
considering the movie like shows us so little like of anything like really cool visually. I thought that was like, you know,
it's a good part.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been maybe a cool part if instead of him seeing that, if he found the husband's corpse only. Because there's that one part where like for whatever reason she's like handcuffed him to her ankle, yeah, and he's like being hidden behind the counter and she's trying to like keep him quiet.
He's naked.
And he's naked.
Damn, who gonna get me like that for real?
Ooh.
I need a girl who gonna get me like that.
Really kinky little thing. Oh my goodness.
JK.
Yeah, we don't consent to that.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been cool if he came back later and just found his dead body. Because at this point he's like, this is a marketing thing.
Yeah.
Like this is a stunt, this is gonna be a tourist attraction.
Yeah. He says it's visual effects.
It's visual effects. And I think it would have been a good first like, oh shit, like, is this real? Mm-hmm. If he, like, just saw a dead body, checks the pulse, it's cold.
Yeah.
Like, that could have been cool. Because the first thing he sees is, like, some insane, impossible shit. Mm-hmm. So, I feel like it kind of jumps the gun.
Yeah.
A little bit. Because just finding a dead body could be like, well, is this, like, a crazy good prop? Or is, like, someone actually... Did she actually kill him? Like, is she right?
Well,
like,
I think by that point he had already seen some crazy shit because he saw the whole church shit happening, and Sutter at the door.
I guess that's
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And all the dogs. I mean, at that point, I'd be like, yeah, I'm tripped out.
That's something that could still be a show.
Yeah.
And he's still considered as it a show at that point.
Yeah.
Because the first thing he sees that I think makes him turn is the axe murder.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I guess you're right. That is pretty nuts. I don't know. Classic Sutter Kane.
Yeah, classic Sutter Kane. Yeah. And
so,
then,
what happens next, Evan?
Well, it's like, yeah, so they did visit the church, and that's when they see him, and they see the dogs, and the townspeople are like, give me back the kid. And then he releases the dogs to attack them.
Yeah, and he says, release the hounds.
Yeah.
Smithers, release the hounds.
And they get out of there, and at this point, the editor, she becomes, like, more erratic as well.
Oh, yeah, she
believing it all. And, you know... We already talked about when he talked to the axe lady again after that. But he wants to get out of there. He's like, yeah, this is all bullshit, whatever. And she's like, no, we need to go back to the church. and she steals the keys and dips to go see Sutter. And when she meets him at the church, he's like, "Why don't you check out the new Bible?" He's finished reading the book, and he grabs her head and shoves her.
Yeah, he like grips the back of her neck and forces her to read it. And simply reading the title page makes her fucking insane.
I did kind of like that part. I like that part. It looked cool.
I like
that you see because at first I was like, because you see it very briefly. You see the movie what's it called the Marquee, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you see it in the Mouth of Madness. It's like, oh. You see that very briefly, and just some other shit that can happen in the movie. And at that point, I guess she kind of becomes like full blown. I don't know if evil, because she does show up back into the hotel, and he's like, "Yeah, where the fuck you been?" She's like, "Don't read it, and she passes.
Well, then she's evil after that.
Yeah, and then after that, she's like evil, trying to get him. And
it's funny when she eats the keys.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
She does eat the keys, so he can't drive the car later. And all the townspeople have like gone insane after that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's when we see like the visual from the dream of them like coming towards him, and that I kind of like that. That was cool. Like I said, it reminded me of like Resident Evil 4. Yeah. That's kind of creepy. I would not want to be chased by evil townspeople.
Me either. When she's in the church though, he has a big demon head on his neck.
Yeah, he does.
And that was pretty.
It's like the creatures are becoming like. They're like taking over the humans or whatever. They're like so this is where like the whole In the Mountains of Madness shit comes into play, because it's like the ancient ones being awakened and like taking over humanity or whatever the fuck. So that's like H.P. Lovecraft type shit.
I guess, is that implying that like it's not really Sutter Kane now? Like it's been.
Well, he says like, "Oh, they've been telling me what to write." Because you remember, see, like the doors is like you see something like locked.
That was a cool visual.
Yeah.
Because the door, like, there's a big wooden door in the church that's presumably, like, a portal for the Cthulhu characters. Yeah. And I really like that visual because it didn't look like wood. Like, it was clearly a wood door, but the way that, I don't know if it was actually, like, a paper effect or CGI or something. Probably not CGI, but, yeah, it looked like it was, like, gonna rip through, like that one effect in Nightmare on Elm Street where he's, like, ripping through the wallpaper. Yeah. It kind of looked like that, and it was like bleeding, but it still looked kind of like wood.
Yeah, I did like that.
I like that. I did like
that too.
That was cool.
It looked cool. He's like, "They've been telling me what to write."
But I thought that, like, why did he have the head on his back of his head, and that doesn't really come back? I mean, I guess like you said, like
it kind of does, because like you see it with the axe lady later. It's like they're being taken over by.
She has the back of his head.
No, I just mean like she's becoming like
she has like
one
tentacles
of those creatures.
Or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I guess.
And I think. You see it with her, the editor, a little bit too. Like under the door, it's like the tentacles.
Oh yeah, she has little tentacles.
And then she looks normal.
That was kind of cool.
That was after the church thing.
It's like she was like pulling herself together or something to trick him. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. And I did like also when he's trying to get out of that town, the village people won't let him. And when he keeps like reversing out to leave, it's like it keeps leading him back. I did actually like that.
Yeah, he
like,
can't leave.
Yeah, because it's like, it is like, like reading a book. It's like, there's only one, it's only what's written. You know what I mean? So it's like he tried to change it. He just keeps going back. So I kind of like that. It's like, oh,
yeah, you can't.
It's like a book. Yeah, I thought that was cool.
And that's also kind of like dreamlike.
Yeah,
like when you really want to like punch someone in a dream or something.
Yeah.
And then like you just have like a baby punch or shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was cool. And he finds out that he was the one who's supposed to deliver the book to the world, so he can't fight that, no matter what he does.
Yeah.
It was because that's how he was written. That's how he was fucking written to be.
That's badass.
Yeah. So yeah, from there it's like you basically get to the end of the movie.
It's pretty much the end.
Yeah, he gets it. No matter what he does, like the book gets re-delivered to him.
Does he even does he ever have dialogue with Sutter Kane?
He does, yeah. Is it actually at the church? Because he's the one who gives him the manuscript for the fucking book.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, does he go to the church?
Because he finished writing it, yeah. And he gives him the...
Does he go to the church after the girl does?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And he finds out he's been chosen to deliver the book. He can't leave no matter what he does.
My God.
Yeah. I mean, he can't escape that path.
My God.
Yeah. Poor guy.
Poor frickin' guy.
Poor gentleman.
Oh, shoot.
And, so he leaves her there, right, at the fucking town.
Well, he tries to take her.
Yeah.
He tries to, like, save her.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like that aspect of it, too, because it's like, there's this weird, crazy, terrible shit going on. She's clearly, like, a part of it now.
Yeah.
Probably beyond her will. But it's like, if I show up without her, and without the guy, and without the book, it's like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. So he's just like, you have to come. So he just, like, grabs her anyway, even though she's, like, a monster now. And then, she's not even trying to kill him in the car. She just wants to fuck with him. Yeah. And then she, like, eats the keys so he can't drive away. Then I think he jams a...
Yeah, that's his... He jams a screwdriver in it.
Screwdriver, yeah. But yeah, then eventually, what happens after that?
Yeah, he, like, she gets out of the car for whatever reason, and he tries to run the village people, but he just goes through them. And then she's there, and he crashes. And then from there, it's like, well, he just runs away, right? It was something like that.
Oh, yeah, he runs away, and then he hitchhikes back home.
But he leaves the book.
Oh, and then he goes to a hotel.
And it gets redelivered to him.
And then the hotel man says,
"We
have a package for you."
Yeah.
We have a package for you. And he says, "By Jove, like no one."
By Jove,
no one even knows I'm here.
Yeah.
And then he say, "Who the fuck gave this to you?"
And I like the other guy comes out. He's like, "I was here last night. I didn't see anybody. He gave it to me."
Yeah, there's no stamp.
Yeah.
No
it just says his name. That was kind of cool. It just his name in big black Sharpie on the package.
John Carpenter's handwriting.
Yeah, probably.
No, it is.
No, his name wasn't John. It was Trent, right? Wasn't it Trent? I remember that because when his name is Trent.
Is it not John Trent?
No, it's like, is it?
I think it might be.
I thought it was Trent something, but anyways, who cares? Yeah, and then, you start hearing more about like the mass hysteria, and everyone's fucking going crazy, and then you kind of get like a time skip of people waiting like in the line still for. No, he goes to see Charlton Heston character again. He goes to see the book dude.
Well, he burns the
manuscript.
He burns the manuscript.
But he finds out, no, the book was published months ago, and I sent you a loan. The editor isn't real.
Yeah, because he goes to the... So after all that, he gets back, and then he's trying to convince him. He's like, I know I sound crazy, but if you take away anything from this, just don't publish the book.
Yeah, but it's already been published.
And then he's like, that was published
months ago.
9 months ago.
Yeah.
The movie comes out next week.
Yeah.
And then he goes to, and then it cuts back to the insane asylum, right?
Yeah. No. You see how he ended up in the insane asylum. So you see everyone going crazy, still waiting for the book. They went in the Mouth of Madness.
Oh, okay.
And some guy comes out with the book. He looks fucked up. He looks weird. And then Sam Neill pops out with an axe.
I kind of like this part.
He's like, this is what they wanted, right? Or whatever. He said some shit like that. He's like, this is what... No, he said, have you read... Oh, no, he asked him now. Did you read Sutter Kane?
Sam Neill says...
what the guy said to him.
Well, he doesn't... I don't think he says that.
But it's something like that.
I think he says, are you enjoying the book?
Yeah, okay.
Which I think that was, like, maybe a missed opportunity.
He says, are you enjoying the book?
Why not have him say that? Like, why? Because people have been saying to him, like, the zombie people, like, the whole movie, like, do you read Sutter Kane?
Yeah.
I think verbatim, both times.
Yeah.
The same way. And then he doesn't say that.
He's like, he says, are you enjoying the book? He's like, then you know, like, what could happen or something like that.
And you know what happens next. Yeah, and then he raises the axe up real high. And
fucking but he looks like how the editor, his agent, looked at the beginning of the movie, who came to attack him with the axe.
Did Samuel have the crazy eyes or the guy?
The guy had the crazy eyes.
Right.
He just looked dirty and like he looked like a hobo.
Yeah.
And then you see it back to him being in the insane asylum because presumably that's how he ended up there after that.
So I like that.
Yeah, I did like that scene too.
I kind of like that murder.
Mm-hmm.
And then the insane asylum, he wakes up and it's Walking Dead, episode 1, season 1. You know.
Yeah, and it goes back to him talking to like the psychiatrist or whatever, and
that's a little bit after, I guess.
Yeah, he asks like, "Oh, is this like it's happening to everybody, right? It's getting worse out there." And then I guess you kind of find out like the crosses and shit. He did that up to play it up even more because he doesn't want to be let out.
Yeah, he doesn't want to leave.
Yeah, it's safer there for him. Yeah.
But yeah, and basically his doctor is like, "Oh yeah, I can't do anything. Like he didn't give me anything.
Yeah,
like, I don't know."
And then you don't really see it, but like everybody gets like attacked, presumably.
Yeah, which you know what they say.
Oh, what
tell
did
don't
they say?
show.
Yeah, they say tell don't.
So at the end, luckily we don't see anything.
It's a bit nightmarish, yeah. I guess, and like the door is like bloody.
It was good imagery at the end.
Yeah,
and the kind of the newscaster was kind of like he was a good voice actor or whatever. He did a good little
yeah. Once he gets out, he's like, oh, it's. He's like, if you're still normal, hide and don't talk to anybody or whatever.
That was kind of cool.
Scary. That's scary.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're still unaffected, please, like,
yeah.
Don't trust your friends, don't trust your family. It was like George Orwell, is that his name?
Yeah.
Is that the news guy?
George Orwell is like the fucking writer.
But he did the broadcast of his book, War of the Worlds, and people thought it was real.
Oh, is that George Orwell?
Or is that someone else?
That's H.G. Wells.
H.G. Wells, yeah.
George Orwell is 1984.
Well, they won't let us say that. But
that's H.G. Wells, yeah.
Okay, H.G. Wells, that's what I mean. Yeah, it reminded me of that,
Yeah.
And what is that movie where they're like, watch the skies?
Is that not War of the Worlds?
Is that The Thing?
No. The Thing is John Carpenter.
The Thing.
Is it? I don't know. Is that the day that the Earth stood still? Some shit like that?
Maybe.
Maybe it's
no.
That might be War of the Worlds.
No. There's one that ends where it's like, watch the skies.
I don't know.
Which is badass.
Yeah, it is.
But I think it might be Body Snatchers.
It might be.
I think it's Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
It's Plan 9 from Outer Space, directed by Edward.
Oh, yeah. See, that was an inspiration to John Carpenter as well. But yeah, so I don't know, that little ending narration was pretty good, and like the little set, and like I said, it's like Walking Dead, season 1.
And then you see him go into the movie theater. It says "In the Mouth of Madness," starring Trent whatever, and he sees like the poster. It's like artwork of him, and he goes in there, and of course you see he's watching clips from the movie.
Oh yeah, and there's the thing with the alley, it wasn't good, but props for it to being something.
Yeah.
Where constantly, like, he walks past those posters.
Yeah, for Hobbs End.
And he, like, rips it off and nothing happens. And then at the very end of the movie, when he goes to the movie theater, he rips it off and there's a poster of his face. Because he's in the movie version.
Yeah. And, he's on the book cover also. It's, like, the artwork version.
Yeah, he's just
and
on
then the poster, basically, the movie poster. Basically,
in general, on the poster, yeah.
And then he goes in and he sees the movie, and it's him. It's everything that's happened. The novel is everything that's happened to him. In the Mouth of Madness.
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy. In the Mouth of Madness is the story.
When I saw that, I said, damn, that's crazy.
So maybe he's not even real.
He's not.
Maybe he's not real. This is all just a story.
Yeah. Pretty fucking meta. Yeah, crazy.
The story is that the author wants to find out about the story, and then he's in the story.
I think one thing that could have been cool, that maybe would have helped the ending a bit for me.
It's like She-Hulk, when she meets the writers.
Oh!
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, it's starting to grow on me in the Mouth of Madness, I think. No, but seriously, I think one thing that could have helped the ending is if there was like a fake out happy ending. We talked about this on previously in our last Halloween episode on Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah.
Like the fake out happy ending that Sam Raimi did in Drag Me to Hell. I think maybe that would lend itself to being like, because they do a few things here and there that feels like a sloppy kind of jab at writing conventions. But I think if there was kind of a fake happy ending, like it feels like a Hollywood mandated happy ending, and then I don't know, you cut to Sutter Kane like writing the ending. Yeah, you know what I mean? Or something like that. Something that implies that there's it's actually terrible hell world or something. Maybe that could have done a little something for me. I feel like the ending is just nothing.
I kind of like the ending, I guess. It was fine.
I think it's okay, but it feels like maybe it's my MCU brain. But I feel like nothing happens. Like it just kind of like, well, it
kind of reaffirms what you already assumed was happening there.
Yeah, there's no real twist or turn.
Yeah.
There's no confrontation. It just kind of is like, well, yeah, the world is fucked.
Yeah.
Which it is, but...
Well, also just confirming, not just that, but that he's in the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is something that you never question once.
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah.
which is also kind of like there's no, for me at least, the way it played, and I didn't really have any spoilers. I just knew it was about like, well, I did have spoilers, I guess, because I knew it was about stories coming to life or something.
Yeah, that's not really spoilers, so that's kind of like,
well, I'm just saying,
plot synopsis.
There's never a point where you question anything or anything seems like it's gonna go one way or the other. It's just kind of like Sutter Kane is writing this movie, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
There's nothing gripping, nothing too exciting.
Yeah, because it's like, it doesn't really feel like a twist, because you're like, oh, okay, that's what's happening, and then it's like, oh, yep, that's what happened.
That's,
what I mean?
that's on the IMDb synopsis.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like it was like, to compare it to another movie like Unbreakable, it was like more shocking at the end of Unbreakable when you find out it's like, oh, Sam Jackson was actually orchestrating a whole like superhero origin, and then him fighting his first arch nemesis. You know what I mean? When you find out everything was kind of done by Sam Jackson. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
it's kind of similar.
In Unbreakable, that's a good comparison.
Mm-hmm.
I think Unbreakable is a pretty good example of like a meta story.
Yeah.
In that way.
That is a good movie. Unbreakable.
Because it's kind of like, it's like superhero Scream.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it is.
Because it's this dude obsessed with superheroes that wants to play the part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it kind of like in the Mouth of Madness, though, where it's like, oh, is it real? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in that movie, Scream is just a slasher, so there's not really a supernatural aspect to it. Whereas it's like, oh, does he have superpowers?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's not doing any crazy shit like flying or anything like that. It's just, oh, he has super strength.
And, like, senses.
Yeah,
and, like a
yeah, and Sam Jackson's just super smart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's just a smart guy that's, like, feeble.
Yeah, so by the end you're questioning, like, okay, is he just that obsessed and was, like, creating it all, and it's just all in their heads? Or, like, are they actually superhuman? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the way, in that way, even though I did like Galacta kind of ruined the mystique of the ending of Unbreakable, because then it confirms that they're all super.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't really think about it like that.
And then, like, tying it into Split.
Yeah.
Like, because that's just, like, a guy that crawls on walls.
Yeah.
But Unbreakable, that is a really good example, because it kind of rides that line the whole movie. And then to figure out that, like, the reason you're having this confrontation is because the obsessive guy is orchestrating it. So it's like, it even further muddies it.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like, explore the premise was correct.
Yeah.
Like, it just, pretty A to B. And the thing is, you can have A and B, like, theme park type entertainment.
Yeah. But this is not really that kind of movie.
It's not.
Yeah. It's like, it's like trying to be, like, intellectual, I would say.
Yeah, I think it skimps on
the... And very subdued, like we said, in the scares. So,
yeah. I think it skimps on the commentary, and it skimps on the actual entertainment.
Yeah.
So it's like...
But I do give this movie credit, though, like I said, because like I said, it was even before Scream. So I feel like it probably did kind of, like, lay the ground for more movies like that to come. So for that reason, I give it a bit more credit. And I guess it's interesting thinking about, like, I don't know, the way people react to horror movies. I remember in the college, I read, like, an essay about how there's only, like, 2 genres that make people actually have, like, bodily reactions.
Comedy and horror?
No, horror and porn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, comedy.
People talked about that too. They're like comedy, but it's like, I forgot the reason why. Because that was, like, my initial reaction. I was like, oh, what about comedy? But there's a reason, like, the author said, like, oh, comedy doesn't count because X, Y, and Z. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's, like, a more famous, like, scholarly film essay. So I'll look it up and send it
Maybe it's like horror can make you, like, your palms get sweaty. Your
heart
races.
It's shit like that. Yeah, it's like when you're watching porn, it's similar, and, like, you get hard and shit. I forgot the exact reason why you say comedy doesn't count, because they actually did mention that.
Yeah, maybe it's because it's like blood flow, it heightens your...
Yeah, and comedy, I guess laughter doesn't, I don't know.
I guess laughter doesn't count. Well, you know what? Laughter does count to me.
Yeah.
Okay? Scholars?
Yeah, I'll look it up anyways later, and I'll tell you exactly why he said comedy did not count.
Well, that doesn't interest me. That's interesting.
But yeah, I thought, so, and by the end of the movie, I thought about that. I was like, oh yeah, it's like... it's interesting commentary, I guess, on like the way people react to horror movies and just horror in general. You know what I mean? It's like, it makes you a little crazy.
It makes
I guess.
you a little nuts.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's just an interesting take on that. I think you can
also kind of replace. You can kind of replace the media with anything.
Mm.
Like, it doesn't really have to be horror. It's pretty, like, just general media worship. Yeah. You could kind of assign it to, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But even then, it's.
But I think horror is a genre that's particularly known for obsessiveness.
Yeah.
People take horror obsessiveness like really far.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah. That's true.
And that's why I say I was like, oh, like, so this was even. I give it credit because like this was even before Scream. I think Scream did it better, but this was like, it delved into similar themes even before Scream.
That's what made me pick this movie in general, was because it kind of it tackles ideas that are super interesting. Mm. But yeah, I think it does maybe
the execution's not great.
It hurts it being kind of early.
Yeah.
It kind of hurts it being ahead of its time a little bit.
Yeah. So like, even though like we didn't completely shit on the movie, but I would say in general I would say like I liked it. It was okay. I'm not gonna say like I hated it.
Yeah, it wasn't fucking Jack and Jill.
Or, yeah. Whatever. It was okay. Like I enjoyed watching it, but it was just like I was let down. I was like, this could be.
Me too.
Yeah, could, because I thought like, oh, this is gonna be a pretty good movie. John Carpenter or whatnot. I've always heard good things about it, but it just, I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't for me.
And plus, Drag Me to Hell. That movie was.
Well, that's Sam Raimi. It's hard to compare to the GOAT.
You can't beat.
I know that's controversial. Everyone's gonna say, "Oh, John Carpenter," but I don't give a fuck. I love Sam Raimi. You can't beat
GOAT.
I love Sam Raimi.
I mean, I did just watch a Sam Raimi movie and a John Carpenter movie back to back.
Yeah.
Drag Me to Hell blows this one out of the water.
I agree, definitely, easily.
That ending is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Watch Drag Me to Hell if you haven't.
Yeah.
And then listen to our podcast review.
I agree.
Hell yes.
I agree with that statement.
Hell yes.
But this was fine. Yeah. Like I said, it's just like, yeah, I found it intriguing for all those reasons.
It's an interesting little piece of movie history.
Yeah. It's just like at this point, it's like, well. It's watered down because like we've seen it already, you know what I mean?
And done much better.
Yeah.
To be honest, but there are movies like 12 Angry Men, It's a Wonderful Life. I watched both of those last year for the first time, and those movies are fucking great. Mm. And there's not really like a 12 Angry Men that came out, last year that like an equivalent.
Yeah.
That's
well,
like,
clearly you didn't see the remake. Is
there a remake?
Yeah. I think. I don't even know who's in it.
I feel like there's some probably.
I think it came out in like the 90s or some shit.
It's probably pretty funny, whoever the actors are.
Probably.
That's probably funny. But this one's definitely aged pretty bad.
Yeah.
I would give In the Mouth of Madness, I might round down to a 1
Damn.
out of 3.
Yeah. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Like I said, it had some interesting ideas. It wasn't like terrible to watch or anything. I like the ideas it explored. Just like we said, it's like wasn't the vision wasn't fully there. Maybe wasn't done that well. And of course, like we said, we've seen it done better. So,
but through this, this kind of nebulous, more abstract movie, I think better movies were forged.
Yeah,
through its efforts.
So that, like I said, I give credit for that because I'm like, so
it is commendable.
Of course, John Carpenter, he did the same with Halloween. Of course, laid the ground for.
But then Halloween holds up.
Oh yeah. I agree.
Halloween is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I definitely like Halloween better than I like this. But my point is that John Carpenter is known to be a trailblazer.
He's a bit of a trailblazer, isn't he?
Yeah.
Bit of an epic guy.
Yeah. So, kudos to him for that.
Yeah, good for you. I don't think it quite. I think I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
You gave it 3 stars. Sorry, because we had the same rating. I was like, oh yeah, we have the same rating. Because 3 stars, 6 out of 10. That's what I would give it.
I mean, I feel like 2.5 is mean. I don't know. I give it 1 out of 3 stars, Evan. That's my crazy frickin' decision.
Yeah, that sounds. But that would definitely be lower than 3 stars on Letterboxd.
Yeah, I'm writing it down. Because I actually think I'll give it 2.5 stars.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
And I'm going to write it down. So.
Nothing wrong with that.
Evan, next week, are we doing your pick?
Yeah, we are.
Next week, we're doing your pick.
Yeah. Do you want to do some trivia?
I would love to do some trivia.
Yeah.
Why not? Sutter Kane is real, and he's writing you right now.
I'll be scared.
Oh, I didn't mention my favorite part.
Oh, what was it?
My favorite line in the movie. And we didn't mention the scene at all. So it's when he's, like, first leaving... He's, like, beginning to leave the town. And,
I saw some clip. I was like, what the fuck is that? But it's another movie. I was like, I don't remember that in the movie.
Yeah, that looked like a bunny guy or something.
Yeah.
There's that scene.
Oh, I forgot you mentioned that. I forgot there was a line I wanted to mention too, but yeah, you first.
There's a scene where he's first leaving town and he goes back into a bar, which we also didn't mention that he goes in.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes up to one of the few, like, sane people left in the town, I guess. And the guy in the bar says, excuse me.
He was one of the village people you see at, like, not village people like the YMCA, but one of the village people.
townspeople.
Yeah, you see. Why say village? Yeah, it's not a village. It's a town.
Not really a village, but that's okay.
Yeah, he's one of the town people.
Probably because of Resident Evil.
Yeah,
like
that might be why.
Resident
But that was
4.
more like a town also.
I guess.
In Resident Evil 4. But there is Resident Evil 7 Village, though. So.
Well, that's a whole different...
Or is that 8? Who gives
No,
a shit?
Village is a 7.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Because the Roman numeral
yeah,
is built into
yeah.
the name. But yeah, he goes up to this guy, and he's one of the few, like, sane people left. And he says, I don't know what came first, us or the book. So I thought that was great. That was a great line. And I like that, even though I did kind of criticize the movie for being a little too on the nose, like when Sutter Kane is like, I'm God now, and that's a little on the nose sometimes. But when he says that, I think it does a great job. It's a creepy little line, and I think it does a good job of making this kind of ambiguous as to how it works.
Yeah.
Like, is reality feeding itself through Sutter Kane, or is Sutter Kane, like, shaping reality?
Yeah.
I like the idea that that's left ambiguous.
I agree.
And that was a good line, and then he fucking blows his head off.
He does.
Right after that, which is
I would do
badass.
the same thing.
And he's like, you wrote it this way.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's cool.
and I was gonna say about H.P. Lovecraft, his fucking in the Mountain of Madness, there's a part where the guy, like, he saw the fucking creatures, and it's like, oh, he comes back and he can't even, like, it's indescribable. He can't put it into words. You know what I mean? That's kind of scary to me. Like, thinking about that, it's like, you literally cannot describe what you just saw. But there's a line like that later, when it's like, oh, when he looks into the fucking shit in, like, the portal or whatever.
Oh, yeah. When, like, because he rips open reality as if it's like a page of a book.
Yeah.
And then he looks into it, and then you
hear I think that's how he got to the road, actually. Because he runs into the church, and that's when he sees Sutter Kane. And then he gives him the manuscript. And then he gets, like, go through the fucking...
Oh,
he goes through the gate.
He has to run away from the monsters.
Yeah, he has to go through the gate.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
they're like, oh, they say, like, oh, it was, like, what he saw was, like, unspeakable or whatever. And it made me think of that. But that was all I wanted to say.
Yeah, it's a nice touch.
Yeah.
You know? Because you cannot have something indescribable in a major motion picture.
Yeah.
Or in a, you know...
So maybe that's why they didn't want to show it too much. Maybe.
But they did show it anyway.
Yeah, they did, but we didn't see the creatures like that much.
No, you saw them pretty good. In the tunnel part.
Yeah.
You could pretty much just see him and be like, yeah, he has, like, backwards legs, and one of them has tentacles, and one of them has wings.
I did like that visual when she's, like, her head goes, like, upside down, she starts, like, crawling.
That was cool.
It was like The Exorcist.
Yeah. I did like that. I kind of wanted that to be freakier, though. Because, like, at first she peeks her head out from behind the car.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, like, is she gonna come out with some disgusting, like,
I thought that footage was gonna
like,
be
spider body or something?
That's what I thought it was gonna be, like Toy Story.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was gonna be.
But then it wound up she was doing, like, weird, you know,
yeah, like fucking
yoga pose or something. So that could have been kind of cooler. That would have been a little.
I liked it how it was.
How it was pretty cool, but I think if she was on some weird, disgusting, like crazy body, like oozing blood or something, but yeah, I think that's the kind of the issue with trying to adapt this kind of horror into a movie is you can't show it.
Yeah.
Because that goes against the the idea of something being indescribably terrifying.
Yeah.
So.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's why they could not adapt that novel into a major motion picture, right?
Yeah.
So, John Carpenter's like, this is the next best thing. I just do some shit like this.
Yeah. See, yeah. You make the movie about the movie.
Exactly.
And that solves your problem.
Yeah. But anyways.
What do you got for me, Evan?
Our first piece of trivia. Hob is an old word that was used to refer to the devil. Oh, I didn't know that.
Cool.
That's fine.
Old scratch?
Yeah.
Yeah. In
the film, the works of Sutter Kane are occasionally quoted. Most, if not all, of these quotes are actually taken directly from... Oh, that kind of feeds into what I was just saying.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Taken from several H.P. Lovecraft short stories, with some adaptation to fit them into the film story. Most notably, in the scene where Stiles reads to Trent... His name was Trent. As he... Was it... Maybe it was John Trent, like you said. I don't know. As he gazes into the abyss, her speech lifts much of the description, including such elements as the illimitable gulf of the unknown from last few paragraphs of Lovecraft's The Rat in the Walls. In an earlier scene, as well, Trent reads a line verbatim from Lovecraft's The Haunter of the Dark, in reference to the Black Church being the seat of an older evil that mankind and wider... Wait, older than mankind and wider than the known universe.
The church wasn't black.
It wasn't?
But it was called the Black Church.
It was like black, wasn't it?
It was like light gray.
I thought it was black.
I'm sure it was light gray. I don't know. I might be wrong.
The car keys that Julie Carmen swallowed when Sam Neill trying to escape from town were made out of pasta.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
That's cool, yeah. They didn't look like pasta, so they did a good job making it look like keys.
Yeah.
This is the third film in what John Carpenter has called his Apocalypse trilogy, the first being The Thing and the second being Prince of Darkness. Have not seen Prince of Darkness. Have seen The Thing. Of course, The Thing is a classic.
I have not seen The Thing.
You should. It's a good movie.
But I feel like you could maybe turn that into a prequel to this. I know when it
they
says...
They are similar, the creatures in The Thing.
I know when it says... But obviously it looks much better in The Thing. But... I know when it says Apocalypse Trilogy, it's like a spiritual trilogy.
Yeah, it's not like they're spiritual sequels.
But I think you actually could...
I mean, direct sequels.
Yeah, I think you actually could make that like... It's so concise and not as abstract because that's like the first one kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Prince of Darkness I heard sucks.
Really? I haven't seen it.
I think I heard that one sucks, yeah.
I don't really know. The building used as a mental institution at the beginning of the film is actually a water filtration plant in the beaches area of Toronto. It has been the scene of other movies, including The Island Fortress and Undercover Brother. Filming can no longer take place inside the building following the September 11th terrorist attacks on the USA.
Well,
okay.
That's a piece of information.
Okay.
Why?
What the fuck? I didn't even realize this. The next one. I didn't realize that was him.
I had no idea. Huh.
This was Hayden Christensen's feature film debut. He's the paper boy met by Trent on the road. I did not realize that was him.
Yeah, and he said, what does he say? You ever been to Hobbs End?
Yeah, he asked him if he ever been to Hobbs End. No. And he points him to the way of the highway.
Good actor.
Thank you, Hayden. The effect of Julie Carmen spinning her head around was done by having a contortionist stunt double wear an upside-down prosthetic mask of Carmen's face. Since the stunt double couldn't see, the filmmaker had to guide her on where to go by sound. That's cool.
That was a good mask.
Yeah, it was good. That was cool. Robot Monster, 1953. From the year 1953, which Sam Neill is watching at the end of the movie. If one of director John Carpenter's favorite monster movies.
Oh, that's a very iconic monster.
A robot monster.
It's the gorilla suit with the fishbowl on the head.
Oh, yeah.
With the diver's helmet.
Yeah. That was cool.
Very iconic monster.
I like to watch that movie.
John Carpenter likes to put, his favorite old horror movies.
He does.
I like that.
He does.
I was thinking about, I watched a video recently by James Rolfe. The Angry Video Game Nerd.
Of course.
And he was talking about the movies in Halloween.
Yeah, because in Halloween, they're watching the original thing.
Yeah, they watched The Thing. I think The Thing, Body Snatchers, and Forbidden Planet.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I do remember, though, because you see the logo of The Thing in Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that.
The Thing from Another Planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 4 years later, he went on to direct his version of The Thing.
Did he not?
Yeah, he did.
Ah.
4 years later.
But, yeah, I like that he puts his little influences in there.
I agree.
Pays them a bit of homage. And it made me want to watch James Rolfe's video specifically. Made me want to watch those movies. And then maybe watch Halloween afterwards.
Oh, that's dope. That's
Yeah.
dope. Thank you, James Rolfe.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, James.
Yeah.
References to the old ones by Sutter Kane, along with certain representations of monsters printed on his books and latter brought to life, are allusion to, okay, we talked about this, the Cthulhu mythos, a series of stories by H.P. Lovecraft, and continued by other writers into modern times. In this sense, one could consider In the Mouth of Madness John Carpenter's own contribution to the Cthulhu mythos. I agree.
Well, I wanted to mention one thing, Evan.
Mm-hmm.
Cthulhu is lame.
I remember I used to be really scared of him as a kid. That was like one of the monsters that really scared me.
When I found out what Cthulhu was, I was very interested by it. And then I looked up the lore, and the lore is basically like, there's Cthulhu, and then there's like another Cthulhu that's like bigger than him.
I didn't know that. I know there's a bunch of them, like those old creatures. Like Shumagorath from Marvel Comics is like based on one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's like they're all just like bigger ones.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
That's pretty lame.
Yeah, it's like It, the giant turtle.
Well, that's badass. I like that.
It's like that.
Because Cthulhu is like, you know, supposed to be like the craziest, biggest, like imperceivable, powerful being that could ever exist.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh well, he has a dad that's like bigger than him. But I like it because it's like, it's just so random. Like there's this shape shifting creature that feeds off fear.
Yeah.
And then there's this like,
I think it was actually based off like this
a Cthulhu character.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Or like one of those
type
of characters, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But then like the contrast of having his like enemy be like he's almost like a Native American like creation story character.
Yeah, we're on a giant turtle.
That's awesome.
It is cool.
I like that lore better than fucking any of Cthulhu lore. Cthulhu's lame.
Cthulhu just used to scare me because I was like, oh, the giant creature laying under the water, and like when he wakes up, like
we're gonna die.
Yeah, like the world will end. Like I don't know. Like at the time, I was like, oh, I thought that. Like I didn't really know that. It was like a H.P. Lovecraft like story. I thought it was like some kind of like old religion type shit. That's what I had thought, and it scared me.
I can see why that would be scary.
Yeah, so I was like,
I was never under the impression that it was like
no, I didn't even know it
an
was
old religion.
Yeah, that's what I had thought.
That's kind of because everyone calls it like the old gods.
Yeah.
Which like to a kid, I could see that being like, that's what they believed before Jesus. Like,
yeah, because I discovered it through like fucking YouTube. You know what I mean? So it was like, it scared me.
That's interesting. But yeah, he's lame.
It was actually because the reason I found out about Cthulhu because like people were like theorizing that Cloverfield was like secretly gonna be like
a Cthulhu movie.
Yeah, when we didn't know what the monster was, and that's how I found out.
That actually made me. I was just thinking about Cloverfield like a second ago.
Great movie.
Because I was thinking like, is that like a Cthulhu thing?
Not really. It's like a Godzilla thing.
It's like a Godzilla thing.
Yeah.
It's Godzilla plus Blair Witch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Blair Witch sucks, by the way.
I haven't even seen it, the original Blair Witch.
Bad.
I would like to watch it sometime. I remember I always wanted to see it after I saw Cloverfield.
I imagine it might be a bit like this movie, in that it's like, you know, it could be groundbreaking for the time.
Yeah, for found footage.
Does not hold up, in my opinion.
I'll have to check it out sometime. I definitely, visit it sometime.
But that's just me. You know me. I need my my robots and.
No, I could try. I've never heard like
Superman.
great things about the Blair Witch Project.
It was probably fucking awesome at the time.
Yeah.
When people were like, "Is this real?"
Yeah.
And shit like that. And you show your friend, and your friend's like, "No."
Yeah.
But now it's pretty quaint.
I'll have to visit it sometime.
Nah.
No, don't.
Clear your watch list first on Letterboxd. And then...
I'm pretty sure it's on there.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, make that one last.
I actually do know what horror movie from my watch list I do want to see next. The Descent. I have not seen that movie. I do want to watch
The Descent.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Is that the one with the bodies that shape a skull on the poster?
No, it's like the one where they're in like... I don't think so anyways. It's the one where they're like stuck in the cave.
Yeah, I think that's The Descent.
Oh, is it?
It has like the poster,
I don't know the
with
poster,
like
honestly.
the bodies, like people's bodies shape a skull.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And they're all like naked or something.
That sounds like fucking The Silence of the Lambs. You know,
No.
you know, on the moth they got the fucking skull.
Yeah, let me look that up real quick.
The naked bodies make the skull.
The Descent. I did hear that was a good movie though.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah, I'm right. As I always am.
Oh, of course.
Hmm?
No, I was like, honestly, I don't even know what the poster is. I just want to watch the movie.
See?
Oh, yeah. That's like the same like thing though from The Silence of the Lambs though. You know, like the bodies making the skull.
Yeah.
Like in Silence of the Lambs. I'll have to check that out.
Cool.
I don't think that's the poster on Letterboxd. That's probably why I didn't see it.
What happens to that one? There's like leprechauns or something?
I think it's like vampires. Not vampire, but like some like vampire type creature.
Vampire type zombie type people.
Yeah. So I'll have to check it out. I don't really know what happens or anything.
I heard it's good. I heard it's good.
Me too. Unfortunately, that director did go on to make the Hellboy remake, which was fucking god awful.
Oh man,
that movie sucked.
Ripped
really
his
bad.
career.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah.
I don't think he has made a movie since.
I don't blame you.
You didn't see it, right?
No, you guys. That was when I was crazy.
Yeah, me and Andy saw it, and we were like, Jesus Christ, that was really bad.
Yeah, and also I was like, I heard it was terrible, so.
It was really bad. Yeah, yeah. But anyways, the wall of monsters at the end was not several monsters being controlled individually. Instead, it was one single special effect that was attached to a vehicle-like wheelbase and had to be pushed along with a crank.
What are they talking about?
I think
when he's being
at the
chased
end,
in the tunnel?
yeah, I think that's what it is.
Oh.
During the filming of the scene, the wall of monsters accidentally ran over Greg Nicotero's foot, and he had to be taken to the hospital. Of course, Greg Nicotero is a famous special effects artist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, So, I think I'm guessing he worked on this movie.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, he was there, so.
Yeah.
Unless he was like, hey, I'm visiting.
He was there stealing trade secrets.
Yeah.
They caught him.
Yeah, like he works on The Walking Dead, like he does the makeup.
Oh,
he's
cool.
like the lead guy, and like, of course he's not the only person, but he's like the head special effects guy for Walking
lead
Dead,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, fuck him and his foot.
Damn. I like Greg Nicotero. He's a cool guy.
JK.
I want him and Norman Reedus own a restaurant in Atlanta.
You want to go?
Honestly, probably not, because I'm like, I don't think there's anything I could eat there. Yeah.
Shit.
It's like it's like a biker-esque type shit. Yeah, like I don't think there's anything I'll be able to eat there.
Well, if you want to go take a picture, I'll buy a steak or something. I'll buy you a soda.
The Sutter Kane character is clearly based on John Carpenter's friend Stephen King, even referencing King's New England roots, with Hobbs End filling for King's Castle Rock. Carpenter directed a film of King's Christine. Oh, of course he did, of course. Additionally, Michael DeLuca had previously written the screenplay for King adaptation The Lawnmower Man. That sounds like a great movie. However, the characters that say that Sutter Kane is even more popular than Stephen King. They do say that, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I think that was just to establish him as a Stephen King type.
Yeah.
But I do think he's supposed to be a stand-in for Stephen King.
Let's see that we don't have to talk about that. We mentioned it many times. Do you want to mention this, or do you care?
Nah. It's like the fake titles of the books.
Yeah. Do you care?
Yeah, fuck it. Stephen King's short story Crouch End was published in the 1980 anthology New Tales of the Cthulhu mythos, with a reworked version later appearing in King's 1993 anthology Nightmares and Dreamscapes. In the story, a man and woman visit an English suburb called Crouch End, where they become stranded and are unable to leave. They are taunted, tormented, and chased by a pair of deformed, otherworldly children.
Ooh, it sounds very similar.
Who later summon a Lovecraftian old god. Some aspect of King's Crouch End bear great resemblance to the film's town of Hobbs End.
Yeah, and the plot, obviously, like him and the editor going there. Shit, I got ahead of myself. bringing up the children, though, I forgot. There was something I did want to mention. They do talk about how, like, in the town, like, the children are being affected first. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned, like, how I felt like kind of like this movie, part of it was about how, like, the effects horror has on us. And I was thinking, like, usually, like, it's children who are, like, most, like, scared of horror and, like, believe it. So I was like, I felt like maybe that's kind of what was going on there a little bit.
That makes sense to me.
Anyways.
Yeah, that makes sense. But that's interesting. I had no idea. I've watched multiple videos of people ranking every Stephen King book.
And you never heard of that?
And I've never heard of that one, so.
Well, it was a short story, not quite a whole novel.
Okay,
it's a short story.
Okay, you're not kidding.
Which he's also written many short stories.
Oh, he's very prolific.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Of course, his son, Joe Hill, wrote The Black Phone, which was adapted into a major motion picture.
He sure did, didn't he? Okay. Yeah. Good for him.
Good for you, you Stephen King's son.
Yeah.
Don't care about that. We can talk about this because you kind of mentioned this. The Miss Pickman creature was shot as a miniature. Originally, it was a man in a suit prosthetic, but John Carpenter didn't find it convincing enough. Well, apparently Dylan still didn't.
I didn't find your miniature convincing, Mr. Carpenter.
Damn, you should tell him that.
Yeah, fuck you, John.
He'd probably be like, "Fuck you." You didn't see there's a clip he was at some convention, and someone was like, "Oh, Escape from New York was great, but Escape from LA sucked," and he just screamed, "Fuck you!"
That's badass.
He was like, "Fuck you."
That's badass.
Yeah, so maybe that's what he would say to you if you criticized him.
I deserve it.
Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah, who are you to tell?
I didn't make Michael Myers. Sam Neill cut his neck on accident. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo.
Damn, yeah, poor guy.
Boo-hoo, boo-hoo.
Let's see. The small town is named Hobbs End, an in-joke reference to the subway station where the alien ship is excavated in the movie Quartermass in the Pit. There you go. More John Carpenter showing love to other older horror films.
Well, he sure is. He sure is.
French film magazine Cours du Cinema, of course, many famous alumni from that magazine, such as Jean-Luc Godard, Francois Truffaut, and whatnot, of course, many of the French New Wavers.
Yeah, as I'm aware of.
Well, I'm letting you know.
I'm completely aware of that as well, yep.
Well, maybe. You did take an intro film class, right? Did you take a film history class?
Yeah, but it was American films pretty much.
Oh, okay.
We watched, is that Moon movie American? No, right?
Moon?
The one where
A Trip to the Moon?
Yeah.
I don't think it is. No, it's German or something.
We watched that, and then the one where, that baby is falling down the stairs for, 20 minutes.
Baby's
falling. I think that one's a French movie or a German movie.
The baby's falling down the stairs. Oh, it is in the...
Stroller.
Yeah. Oh, what is that called? I think that's German.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think the Moon one is French, and then that one's German. Yeah.
Anyways, but the French New Wave, basically, a bunch of the directors from the French New Wave, they wrote for that magazine.
Oh.
So, but anyways, I didn't even know it was still around in the 90s. But French film, maybe it's still around now. I have no idea. But French film magazine Cours du Cinema, I don't know, hopefully I said it right, listed this film as the best film in 1995.
No, it's cap.
What else came out? We reviewed some other movies from 95, didn't we?
Yeah, probably whatever we've reviewed is better.
With Kids from 95? I like Kids more.
Kids was from 95.
It was 95?
And I don't even like Kids that much, but I like
Let
Kids
me see.
better than this one.
Let me see.
Kids was 95.
The Quick and the Dead was 95. Easily a better movie.
Come on, son.
Yeah, The Quick
and the
Dead.
Son.
The Quick and the Dead is easily a better movie.
Fucking Lube de Shub needs to watch some better movies.
Yeah, The Quick and the Dead was definitely a better movie.
Oh, yeah.
Sam Raimi, the GOAT, of course.
Easy GOAT.
Easy GOAT. Eventually we'll review all his movies.
Yeah, we'll get to it, right?
On this podcast. I can't wait to do. Well, we kind of reviewed Multiverse of Madness. We did a mini review, so that counts.
That's enough.
Yeah. I ain't doing a whole episode on that. We'll do a whole episode on Oz. That'll be epic.
We'll do 4 hours on Oz.
That'll be epic.
Return to Oz.
The inscription on the doors of the Black Church reads, "Let these doors be sealed by our Lord God, and let anyone who dare enter this unholy site be damned forever." That's what happens.
I did read that.
That is what happens, isn't it?
Which is weird. It's a weird thing to write on a church.
Yeah.
But,
well, I like this one. Rucker Hauer was considered for the role of Sutter Kane.
Who's that?
Interesting. Of course, he plays Roy Batty from Blade Runner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he was the hobo with the shotgun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Iconic.
Yeah. Iconic. That would have been interesting. I like Rucker Hauer. He would have been better than this dude, whoever he is.
I thought he was fine.
I didn't really like him, personally.
Maybe the casting could change, and I would care if he was like the main character like we were talking about. But
for this role, it doesn't matter.
For what it is, I'm like, he's fine.
Let's see. Although Sutter Kane might appear to be representative of Stephen King, he's more likely to be based on H.P. Lovecraft. That kind of goes against what they were just saying. Like,
well, these aren't the same people writing these.
Yeah,
but I think.
That's kind of what I was mentioning, though. I feel like his stories are more like, at least the main one in this is like more Lovecraftian.
I think the aesthetic is Stephen King, and the substance is H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah.
It's obviously a mixture of probably even, like you said, more than just those two guys. But I think mostly the aesthetic is Stephen King. And like the current influence he has as like the biggest author.
Yeah, definitely.
That's like
when it's like that, that's definitely Stephen King.
Yeah, all the surface level stuff is Stephen King. Yeah. You want to do some spoiler ones?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Let's see. The dozens of monsters featured towards the end of the film were a combination of...
Wait, pause.
Yeah.
The last one above the spoilers is Batman, so I want to read that.
Okay.
John Glover and David Warner both provided a voice for a Batman villain in Batman the Animated Series. John Glover was the Riddler, and David Warner was Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, cool.
Well, those guys are fucking even more talented than I thought.
Yeah, they are.
There you go.
They are.
There you go.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Badass.
The spoiler trivia. The dozens of monsters featured toward the end of the film were a combination of men in suits, animatronics, and full-sized wall of creatures. It took over 30 people to operate the monsters.
That sounds like a bitch.
That sounds like
a job.
Yeah. But they did it.
They pulled it off. It looked fine.
They did. When Jurgen Prochnow, is that the... I'm guessing that's the guy who plays the author. Lets the monsters from the other side into our world. Originally in the script, the entire town was sucked into the other side. When they proved to be too costly, an effects artist over at Industrial Light and Magic recommended that he instead tears himself apart like paper. That's cool.
It's like a decent fix, I guess. I thought that was kind of a cool thing, where he like rips the reality into like a book page.
Yeah, that was cool. It makes sense
for
the movie, right?
Yeah.
During the credits right at the end, just after the SPCA disclaimer about animals being monitored and unharmed, text reads, "Human interactions monitored by the Intergalactic Psychiatric Institute. The body count was high. Casualties heavy." Oh, isn't that funny? No? Not funny to you? This little joke?
I'm just trying to, like, what the fuck are they talking about?
It's saying, like, oh, like, no animals were harmed, but lots of people were killed making this movie.
You can't write that.
Oh.
It's not even true.
It's a little joke.
It's not funny.
At the end of the film, when Sam Neill approaches the movie theater showing the meta film, the following credits can be seen, though some names are slightly blurred. Oh, I did see John Carpenter's name on there. It said, like, a John Carpenter film. On the movie poster outside the theater, New Line Cinema presents a John Carpenter film, In the Mouth of Madness, starring John Trent, Linda Stiles, Jackson Harglow, written by Michael DeLuca, of course, the writer of this film, and all those other people. You get it? Right?
Except for the 3 lead character names, all the other credits are for the real film's actual crew.
Yeah, because it was their character names.
Oh, yeah, his name is John Trent. Yeah.
Oh, okay, John Trent. Yeah. After Sutter Kane said, "Did I ever tell you my favorite color in blue?" It is realized that throughout the entire movie, whenever an actor has a close-up, their eyes are blue, proving Sutter Kane's power.
That's messed up.
I didn't realize that. That's cool.
That's a cool touch.
Yeah. According to the map that the book cover creates, Hobbs End will be located at the edge of London, New Hampshire, near the Merrimack/Belknap county line. Well, if you live there, don't go there. Okay.
Hey, stay away from that place, right?
Well, that's In the Mouth of Madness, of course. We talked about it for a good minute.
We got some thoughts out.
Yeah. 30 minutes of that with Black Adam and Halloween.
That's true.
Yeah. So
That's true, but we got our thoughts out, didn't we?
We did.
And Evan, it's always a lovely time sitting down and talking to you.
Oh, of course. Thank you. And to you as well.
And,
or with you as well.
Oh, yeah.
However you word it.
You're not crapping.
Yeah.
You're not pooping.
I'm not.
You're not kidding.
I ain't shitting.
You're not shitting.
No.
You're definitely not shitting.
Hell no.
But yeah, interesting movie. And this taught me a lesson, Evan.
What was it?
From now on...
I don't want the computer to die.
Oh, yeah, please plug that in. From now on, I will be watching movies before I pick them.
Well, I mean, we got like a pretty good conversation out of this. So,
it was a good conversation.
Even if you were let down by the movie, as it was I, it still made a good episode.
It's still worth talking about.
It still made a good episode.
It's still worth talking about. But this is kind of like one of my... If I had to rank every movie we've ever reviewed, this is probably pretty low.
Yeah, probably. Because we mostly do movies we both enjoy.
Yeah.
So far, at least.
Yeah, this is probably like bottom 3.
I'm excited for next week. We will be doing... Should I spoil it now? I didn't want to say it. Can I say it now?
Well, Evan, I think if you sat through 2.5 hours, you deserve a little treat.
Of course, next week we are doing Midsummer.
Oh.
Ooh, very exciting.
Wow.
I'm still trying to think... Are we going to do the theatrical version or the director's cut? I don't know.
Well, it's your pick, so...
I like the director's cut better, but I'd be down to do either one.
I have Midsummer right here. Let me see if I have both.
No. I have that Blu-ray. That's the original Blu-ray, only has the theatrical cut. Oh. The director's cut is on a special Blu-ray, a special edition. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll decide. I'll let you know by tomorrow.
Cool.
Which edition we should do.
Cool.
I like the director's cut a little bit more, but it doesn't really matter which one we do.
How much longer is it?
Actually, no. I think we should do the theatrical just because I think you should see that before you see the director's cut. Just watch the original cut first.
In general, what's the difference? Like,
there's more scenes.
More scenes?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a whole like ritual scene that's not in the theatrical cut. That's in... It's like 20 minutes longer, so it's like decently long.
Do you think the theatrical cut
and there's more stuff with their like the relationship in it also.
Huh.
It's like it doesn't. It's like it does. It's not. It doesn't make it like a better or worse movie. It just gives you like a little bit more context.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I do think it makes it a better movie personally. My point is that it's not like make or break.
Okay.
That's my point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
If I can get my hands on it, I might watch the director's cut.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of it. I don't know. Because I probably won't... Most movies like that, unless they're really fucking good or I really like them for whatever reason, I'll probably never watch it again.
Yeah.
Because it's just like... It's like Hereditary. Like, that's a good movie. But it's like, do I want to watch Hereditary again?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Well, Midsummer, I was like, I loved it the first time I saw it. And then when I found out they put the director's cut in theaters, I was like, fuck, I gotta go. So I went and saw that. And then I went and bought the director's cut special edition Blu-ray when they finally released that. So I really like it. I'm really excited because I haven't watched it in like 2 years now. I've seen it. How many times have I seen Midsummer? I've seen it 3 times. So I'm very excited to watch it again.
Well, I'm excited to watch it for the first time.
Me too. Oh wait, why did I say me too?
You're excited.
I'm excited for you to watch it for the first time. Yeah.
And then I still got to pick my last one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna try and squeeze in a couple movies. Or maybe a couple more. I don't know how much spooky,
you can handle
creepy, terrifying films I can handle. But there's I'm considering older. I'm considering newer. I'm considering like the horror of Dracula, which that's the first like Hammer horror movie.
The one with Christopher Lee, right?
Yes. Considering that one, there's one called like Carnival of Souls or something.
Yeah, that's an older horror film. That's on Criterion, I believe.
That one caught my eye because I remember recently we were talking about like why aren't there like horror movies that take place in theme parks? And that movie's actually shot on like a real abandoned theme park.
You haven't seen Zombieland, bro?
Yeah. Good movie.
You didn't see Zombieland? I actually do like Zombieland.
I don't know. I'm not huge on it. And obviously, not really a horror movie too much, but
yeah.
But I like that setting, and as you know, Evan, theme parks deeply terrify me.
They're scary.
They're creepy. Like just the artificial nature of a theme park.
Yeah.
To me is very creepy.
Maybe you can't handle that movie.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
I want to be shaken.
Oh, you want to be scared?
I want to be shaken to my core, Evan. I'm drawn to it in a morbid fashion.
That's understandable.
And then I might check out a couple other ones, maybe like a more modern one or something. We'll see.
We'll see. We have some good variety, I think.
And then of course we'll be doing Thanksgiving month.
Yeah.
We'll be
Spider-Man
doing,
1 4 weeks in a row.
Spider-Man 1 every day.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So look forward to it.
And we'll be doing Tower Heist with Eddie Murphy.
Oh yeah, very exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Midsummer's a long one. I wonder how long we'll talk about it. The movie's like 2.5 hours long.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Is it spooky?
And director cuts like almost 3 hours long.
Is it spooky?
Not really. Not for me, anyways. But
isn't there like blood and stuff?
there is. Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah. Well. We'll get into it. So yeah, please look forward.
Is it like on par with Hereditary?
No, Hereditary is definitely scarier than Midsummer, because Hereditary is like supernatural, whereas Midsummer is not. I mean, there's like some kind of a little bit supernatural aspect, but for the most part, not really.
I don't know. I don't know if maybe we have a bit of a different taste, Evan.
Well, like as far as what scares us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely find Hereditary scarier. The scene where well, not the scene, but the shot where Tony Collette's like when he's hiding in the basement, classic Alex Wolff, and she's like grabbing onto like the door and like banging herself on that. That would always creep me out.
Hereditary is just for me. It was mostly just like depressing.
Yeah,
I guess.
Once they got to like all the demons and stuff like that, like it would creep me out. I wasn't like like scared, like I couldn't sleep or anything, but like I found it creepy.
Yeah.
And the cult, that was weird. Yeah.
Huh. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
I'll
be intrigued to hear which one you think's a better film.
I think, based on what I've heard about Midsommar, I feel like I'll like it more.
I like Midsommar more. I feel like it's pretty 50-50 as far as to what people say. You know what I mean? Like some people, you know what I mean? It's not like one is like favored over the other. It's pretty 50-50, I think.
I feel like the actual characters might be a little more interesting in Midsommar. Like they have a little bit, and they're also put in a kind of a situation that allows characters to shine a bit more.
Yeah.
Whereas in Hereditary, it's a pretty domestic.
Yeah.
Urban movie.
Yeah. They both have a pretty good set, little cast of characters that you follow. Yeah. I think.
The mom is pretty interesting too.
Yeah, Toni Collette was great in that movie. She was great. And I really liked Alex Wolff also. A lot of people shit on him in that movie, but I thought he did a good job.
He was not bad.
Yeah, he did a good job. Yeah.
And the little girl too.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, she was good.
I was just like, when I saw it for the first time, I didn't know she died right away. Because like she's a heavy part of the marketing, you know what I mean? Yeah. But she died pretty quick.
Yeah, that's like the first 30.
It's like within the first 30 minutes. Yeah.
Nutty movie. I'm sure we'll talk about it a bit more next week.
Yeah, probably.
When we talk about Midsommar. And I might even watch his nutty.
Maybe I'll double feature this week. Because I have not seen Hereditary in a while. I've actually only seen it 1.5 times.
You watched a bit of it?
Because I saw it the first time, and then I was at a Halloween party, and everyone was upstairs like doing bullshit, but me and 2 other people watched Hocus Pocus, and then we started watching Hereditary, and we only got halfway through it. Yeah.
I feel like Hereditary is not a great party movie.
Well, it was only me, my friend's sister, and then her other friend, this dude. So we were just downstairs to watch. So it wasn't like we were partying, you know what I mean? Everyone was upstairs, like they were doing TikToks or something.
Oh, geez.
So we were so I watched Hocus Pocus, and then we got halfway through Hereditary. So yeah.
Well, but I might watch, what is it, We Are the Joneses or some shit?
I don't know that.
His short film.
Oh, you mean RNS? Yeah, I forgot what it's called. I still have not seen that. I always heard it was good, but
I think it's like something with the Joneses. Or it's something like that.
Yeah.
It's sounds epic.
Yeah, I actually know what happens in it already.
Me too.
Unfortunately. Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah,
well.
Yeah. But I have not seen it. I'll have to watch that.
And it's just very like, I would say go watch it. If you like like Hereditary or whatever, I would say just go watch it. But it's very like. What creeps me out about it when I first heard about it is like it's like this weird like opposite of human nature kind of thing. I don't want to spoil it. I think you know what I'm talking about.
I don't really know what you mean by that. You can tell me off the mic.
It like goes against human nature kind of thing. It's like really backwards, and it's like played. It's played a little silly, I think, but like kind of serious. I don't know. I'll have to watch it for myself. But
me too.
Ari Aster's a badass.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
And we'll see you next week for Midsummer. Please like this video if you enjoyed it.
Please.
Please comment if you have any suggestions. I think this will probably come out before we film the last one of Halloween of October, so maybe I'll consider whatever you comment for the next one. And please take care of yourself. Please enjoy your day, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.